Okay, let's go in a 3, in 2, and in 1. And welcome everybody to FrameCast number 57. I've almost lost track of the count, but here we are, 57 episodes in. How's it going, Drew? How are you doing today?
See my face.
Hell yeah!
See my face.
Yeah!
You show me my face.
Yeah,
Like
now you're showing me my face. We're using a new thing. OBS is updated, and like it allows us to push through this stream straight to Drew on Discord, so he can see exactly what you're seeing, unless you're listening to this
just
on
now,
like
yeah.
Anchor. So he can see himself now. He can have very interesting conversations with himself, or me, or him. Whoever do you want to talk to, Drew? It's up to you.
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh man. I mean, like, that's kind of sus, Treble says. Who's sus? I don't know, man. Like, ask Drew. Drew, ask yourself. Or, like, actually, there's
I'm not sus.
Actually, okay, he says he's not sus, so.
I'm not
yeah.
sus. You think I'm sus, but I'm not sus.
Actually,
it's like I'm the least sus person here.
The fun part if I play Among Us with Drew is Drew will always like vote me out regardless of whether I'm imposter or not. It will always be, it's you.
Oh my god, I can't believe I did that one. It's just, oh god. And I cost us the game as well. Such an idiot.
Next time I'll just stand around forever.
Clearly.
And anyway, there's a big rainstorm going out. I don't know if you guys can hear
I
that.
can bloody hear that. Yeah, I can bloody hear that.
Oh, damn. Anyway, so, like, that's happening. Just, like, lay down, close your eyes, and just imagine that the rain is falling. You just, like, lay in your bed and, oh. Yeah, like that.
Stop
yeah.
it.
It's so nice. Like, on the one hand, I loved like the rainy season because like, oh, it makes me fall asleep so well. Like the storms, it's like perfect. Whenever I have to go outside, which is not a lot of these days, but still sometimes. I don't know, man. Like,
I just don't want too much of the same one thing.
Yeah,
that's the important thing for me. I just don't want too much rain. I don't want too much sun. I want a lot of snow, like because we never get that. But yeah.
Actually, like, it's been years since we've had snow here. But anyway, okay, so we have a bunch of topics today. Let me just very quickly go through the topics that we have. Then I have a little, like, household thing to do for my YouTube channel. And then we can get into, like, the regular stuff of what have you played, and so on. So first, the topics for today. We have Twitch introduces licensed music library for streamers, which sounds pretty good. But there's always a but. This music library can only be played live, and it pays out the artist in exposure. So, like, how much have you been able to buy with exposure, Drew? Do your local shops sell things for exposure? You just give them like
no. See, for me, like, I feel insulted when I even have the notion, like, it just makes me sick to my stomach to think that you get artists out there that are paid in quote unquote exposure. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
There was a brilliant, oh god, like TikTok video where, oh god, I can't remember who it was. Basically, there was this guy pretending to be like an assassin, and it's like, that'll be $50,000. Oh well, we were thinking about paying you in exposure. And the guy was like, what? Yeah, we have like 10,000 Twitter followers each. And I'm like, oh my lord. Obviously, it was just taking the piss, but
yeah. Can you imagine? Like, oh no, I can't pay my rent in money, but I can pay it in exposure.
Oh man, like my rent would be so much cheaper if I could do that.
I mean,
like, probably be nothing.
I mean, like you can pay them in exposure, and you can hold the threat over of negative exposure if they don't accept it.
Oh man!
You know, if exposure could be a real currency, like, it would actually have its benefits, because like not accepting the payment would result in negative payment actually.
Oh god! But then you've got the problem of, like, this is just a rabbit hole, like a massive where you've got agencies. So you know how you have estate agents right now? It's like, oh yeah, well, you know, we control your rent. Yeah, well, I have like 3,000 Twitter followers. Like, you're just gonna have agencies that are out there that are amassing followers just so that they can control exposure. Like, yeah, you have to pay us real money for exposure. I'm like, wait a second, when did this change?
To be honest, it would solve a lot of problems though, because like you know how people were worried about Bitcoin because Bitcoin like allowed criminals to do transactions because it wasn't being monitored. Like right now, if you pay an exposure, like how are you gonna do like shady criminal activity? Like hey, like under the bridge, like hey, I want to buy some drugs for you. Well, that's gonna cost you like 10 exposure. Okay, yeah, let's deal. Okay, let's go. So, hey guys, welcome to my vlog. Today I'm here with my drug dealer right on the bridge. So if you want the best illegal drugs, come down to the bridge at 22th Street. He has got like the best guy. What's your name again? Like, that's his name. Here, I got his driver's license. Check him out. He's a regular guy. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram. Okay, I see you. Okay, thanks for the drugs. It's like, yeah, hell yeah, man.
Oh, this is fucking genius, man. It's up there with smuggling Warhammer miniatures and hackers or gamer hackers stealing waifus from gangsters. That's how fucking up there it is. Anyway, should we progress on?
Let's move on. Let's move on. So the second topic that we have for today is called the Monster Hunter movie trailer. Need we say more? That's going to come later. We also have Google not supporting Stadia on their new Chromecast for 2021. What will that mean for the future of Stadia? And PlayStation's 5 remake of PlayStation 4 Spider-Man means that if you have a game on the PS4 or on an old console and you thought that game was going to be the same game as on the new platform, no, don't worry about it. Your game will suck or be great depending on like what you think of it. But they're going to change the game. They're changing the game. Spider-Man. They're changing Spider-Man for the PlayStation 5 to
there's one important thing that they're changing, and it's Peter Parker. That's what the topic's about.
Very minor edit. Like you won't notice.
You have to be fucking blind not to notice that.
Oh boy. Anyway, so those are the 4 topics for today. Before we get into those and before we get into the regular Framecast, I do very quickly want to touch on like a little bit of housekeeping for like this YouTube channel. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, I recently talked about it in the stream today because someone asked like, where have the bloody videos been? Well, they haven't been here for like a while, for a main reason. My computer's gonna trash. And like it has been for a while. Like I've been able to like edit around that, but like my life has gotten a lot busier when it comes to like university that I've started, when it comes to like more streaming that I've been doing. Like today, like this is the second stream that I'm doing on Twitch. Check out on Twitch. If you haven't seen that and you want to see more content, like that's where I'm at right now. But basically like I have been having issues with like Premiere Pro on this computer right here, my edit computer, where basically like it doesn't accept anything that's like perfect constant frame rate. So that means that like if I record for an hour or 2 hours, like halfway through the audio and video will be completely off, and it's like a really big pain to work with. So all the videos that I've been working on just have been like complete garbage, and I've been trying to like work them on my laptop because like I can't get the newer version of Premiere Pro because I'm running Windows 8 on the main computer. I'm not going to change that because there's so much stuff on there. I'm not going to do that. And like the laptop just will crash every single time I'm using Premiere. Now, I do also use Sony Vegas, which doesn't have that problem. However, like whenever I'm editing for Xeno, which I've also been starting doing a little bit to the side for some videos, so you might see some really cool videos. Check out all Xeno's arbiters and like figure out if you like tell me which videos you think I edited. Check all of them out and then like make a list, and I might say like yes or no. But yeah, like I'm using Sony Vegas for that, but like also like in editing that, like it will crash like multiple times. I gotta really watch my CPU count, so I need to upgrade my PC at some point in order to like bring back videos on full steam. I'll try to bring back like some like bit by bit. But yeah, that's where they've gone to like in the meantime. So like there's a lot of Framecast right now here on this channel. I know that if you're not a big fan of the podcast because you like the wacky and energetic videos, like they'll be coming back. We had a wacky and energetic start, so hopefully we're confronting you to podcast too. But if you want to have like more of the video experience, of like the gameplay experience, like Twitch is like the only thing that I can really offer. Maybe like a video a week if things turn better. But yeah, it's that's the situation right now.
So food for thought. Don't commit to this because like I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
One thing you could do, and I'm mostly speaking to your audience, like if people were to back you on like Patreon or subscribe to your Twitch or whatever, like with Twitch. Sorry, is it Twitch Prime? It is Twitch Prime, isn't it?
Yeah, we have Twitch Prime. Yeah.
Right. If you subscribe to Michelle, that could potentially get you the revenue to find people to edit down highlights, like how Lixian does it for Markiplier. You know, the Markiplier's videos on YouTube are actually really entertaining. I couldn't certainly watch a whole stream though.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, if you want to support the channel, that's like you can do that via Twitch, via the Prime thing, via subscribing, via donating on Twitch, or via like the Patreon thing. Generally, like, if I like my focus right now is this week we're gonna have a Zen free launch. So basically, AMD is gonna bring out new processors, and we recently had the RTX 30 series launch, which means some pretty good developments within like the computer world. So like any funds that I have are going to be going to like making a good computer so that I can edit, because like it's not that I can't edit, like that I don't have time to edit these things. It's just that I don't have time right now to be like every 5 seconds, well, no, actually, like basically every 30 seconds to every minute, like having my Premiere crash and like starting it up again and having it crash and start up again. So as long as I can have a PC that can actually like work with the workflow, I can start making videos again. But again, like I don't want to force anyone into like, or like beg anyone for money. That's not my style. I'll make it happen, but like, you know, support is nice, but anyway, I find it weird bringing money into things. So that was just like a quick thing. So like, if you're wondering what the videos are at, I'll try and get something out as soon as possible. But yeah, it's bottlenecked right now, hard. Anyway, so sure, what have you been playing?
I've actually started playing Genshin Impact.
Ooh, how's that?
Interesting. It's so I like to play a lot of co-op games. I'm not a huge fan of PvP. I don't like how competitive some people can get. I don't like how competitive I can get. But I like my PvE co-op games. I am not prepared to pass judgment on Genshin Impact because I can't do the co-op until my account ranks 16.
Ooh.
But I don't know, 6 to 8 hours into the game so far, maybe more, and I still can't do the co-op. And in all honesty, that is a negative to me. Like, I don't know why I can't play with Loz.
That's weird. Like,
it's weird. It's really weird.
Do you have an idea, like, how long you're 6 to 8 hours in already? How long do you still have to go? Do you have an idea? Do they say?
Last I remember, my account, my adventurer rank was 11.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely don't know. And I also have to wait for Loz to get to rank 16.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I'll probably get to rank 16 and then just wait. But
I mean,
it's super weird. Honestly, it's just so genuinely weird that you can't co-op together during the main plot of the game or any of the quests.
That is really strange, especially like, I mean, 6 to 8 hours and not even there yet. That's a long commitment. And most of the time, it's better if you start out together, because like if you start a game together, you're both at the same level and like you can kind of like tag along with each other. But if you already have to dedicate like 6 to 8 hours of the game, those are very important, crucial 6 to 8 hours where like you gotta understand the game. Like there's so many new impressions. So like that's the moment, that's like the crux where like most people like either leave or continue. And at that point, like having a co-op is like one of the big reasons why people, even if they don't get the game, they're like, oh, well, at least I'm playing together with my friends, so maybe I'll get it later. Like that carries people through that phase. And I was like 10, 12 hours? Like how long do you, like that's a long commitment for like a game where like if you're like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think co-op like should be bred at the start. Then again, I haven't played it, but that's weird. Really weird.
It is certainly interesting. It's very high quality considering it's a free-to-play game. It's gacha mechanics are still something to be explored. Like I don't truly understand them, but you know that will come with time. Oh god, what else? You know, but for like a free-to-play game that is effectively a clone of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's a fucking good game. I'm not gonna lie. Also, climbing for days. I fucking love climbing. Oh, what's that? So, just to give a little bit of clarity, playing the starting mission is like, make sure you go talk to that blacksmith over there. And he could build you weapons. I'm like, yeah. So I know. Go speak to the blacksmith. He's in the city somewhere, right? Instead of actually like running out the front door, the front gate, whatever, I climbed the wall and jumped off, right? And I was talking to Lars about this, and like we done the campaign, the quest and everything. I was coming back through the city main gate. I was like, "Oh, there's the blacksmith." I was like, "What do you mean there's the blacksmith? There's the blacksmith." Look, didn't you go past them on your way out? No. How could you not go? They're right next to the main gate. It's like, I went over the wall. What do you mean you went over the wall? I could go over the wall. I went over the wall.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. Even like I've like at first was so super like hands up like gacha. Like I'm not really down for another gacha game, but like I've heard that it's somewhat acceptable. So I'm gonna try it this week if I have time. Like this week is a lot of finishing off projects and shit with university. So like once that is done, I'll finally have time to do some Genshin and see what the
I
hype
find
is
it
all
very
about.
interesting how there is such distinct differences in terms with gacha and loot boxes. Yeah, because
Mhm.
obviously loot boxes are really heavily frowned upon across everywhere, but when it comes to gacha, it's okay. Like it's the same thing.
It is.
Yeah. So
I would actually say like I've not been that big on loot boxes. Like I've never played it. So like when I say
mm,
big, like I've never really engaged with them too much. But when it comes to gacha, it's like I like I've played a gacha game pretty seriously like about a year ago, and especially when you have like a thing where it's like roll it and then like the thing goes and like boom and then like I mean like it's basically like the same thing and it might just be worse because you're like you can sometimes like feel like come in sort of thing. And I remember like I don't know if every gacha game does this, but like this game that I'd played had like every month there would be like a special character with like increased drop chance. So like you'd farm up your crystals and then like you'd spend them all and then like next time there would be another character and it's like yeah, I mean I get it why they're doing it, but at the same time, like I like it way more. I like games way more when like it's a free to play model with like microtransactions where it's like for this amount of money you can buy this, and it's like it's straightforward. Like you
yeah.
put in your money, you know what you're gonna get. And here it's so like it's weird because like on the other hand, like do you feel the same way towards like Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic the Gathering cards? Like because these are also kind of things which like yes they're physical items but still it's the same idea where like you buy a pack and like you gotta
Yeah.
hope that you don't have doubles and like we've been fine with that forever and like I liked collecting them but like isn't that the same thing?
So with the card packs,
Mm-hmm.
you can be sort of like caught out. So um because say you had like this legendary card, this super rare card, right? You have to print a certain number of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then they're gonna call you out and say, "Oh, well, this card doesn't exist." Right? You're
Yeah.
talking crap out of your ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of the physical item is that it's easy enough to counteract it. The problem with the digital item is it works much like a slot machine or fruit machine. Typically what they're called in the UK. With a slot machine, the slot machine rewards you just enough to keep you playing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it gives you enough of an adrenaline high because the slot machine is a glorified calculator, so it can monitor what you. What's the name of the damn thing? A card pack can't do that. A box of cards can't do that. So that's like a fair chaotic system.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, and the same can be said for loot boxes in video games, where the video game can say, you've put 80 quid in the game, therefore we'll now give you a special reward.
That is a good point because like what you say is a card pack is a card pack and like the cards will be in the pack regardless.
Yeah.
So like I don't think it happens a lot that people like buy the packs like I buy one pack at the store, I open it up, oh my god I got a really good one, let me buy another. Like most of the time people
Yeah.
are really into it just buy a box, and when you're at home and you have bought a box and you got a good box, like you gotta
Yeah.
go to the store and buy a box again. It's like that takes time, and the cards are the same cards, but like
Yeah.
the digital mechanics, they can be like okay we found out that if we give you just a rare at like the fourth try, then like
Yeah.
you'll throw more money in, and like they can control that, and that is something where yeah, you're pretty much spot on that. Like I was thinking more about like because before I was thinking about people said like, oh yeah, the bad thing is because like it's a digital thing and the other things are physical things. And yes, a part of that is true. When it comes to like spending money on digital games, basically like your value is there as long as the game's active. Once the servers go down, like it's like, well, say goodbye to your money now.
Yep.
But on the other hand, like you could make the same argument for like the cards. It's like it's literally like you're just buying like pieces of cardboard with some print on it. It's like technically it doesn't really have that much value, except for no one can like take it away from you. But I do think,
That's the important thing. So
yeah.
people can't take it away from you, and thus people can, So even if the company collapsed, so actually World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft had a trading card game where the company, was it UDE or something like that? Upper Deck Entertainment, that was it. UDE. They lost the rights to continue they lost the license to continue to produce the World of Warcraft trading card game, and this was roughly when Hearthstone was announced,
Ooh.
right? And because Blizzard didn't want a card game competing with its own card game, they pulled it so that you couldn't continue making it. But just because there wasn't any more World of Warcraft trading card game didn't mean I lost all my cards.
Yeah, and
Right?
actually, when that happens, your cards probably shot up in value because right now, like if people want to collect them, they can't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, that's a very important thing. Let's
Anyway,
see. Steph says
enough fun.
Steph says
What
in-game
have you
War
been playing?
Thunder is script to if you buy a premium vehicle, it will send you to lowered ranks where you will be dominated. So it making it more stressful for players of lower ranks, and that way pressure them to buy it too. That's interesting.
Yeah. They've been caught out with that.
Oof. Pay to
I
win is
think
one hell
World
of
of
a thing.
War Tanks. No, World of War Tanks. No.
War Thunder.
No. It wasn't just War Thunder. I think World of Tanks were called out for doing this as well.
Yeah.
World of Warships. That was it. No. World of Tanks was caught out for doing it. World of Warships, I don't think was. So
To be fair, like this is a bit of another topic, but I'm quite curious what you think about it. Like weighted lobbies. I feel these things are like pretty much a thing from like more recent times. I remember 10 years ago, it didn't really feel like that big a thing. Like it might have like somewhat played a thing, but like you saw it with like recently Fortnite was called out for like having battle royales with like bots for new players, so they would always win, sort of thing.
yeah.
And like I recently started playing Spellbreak, which is like another battle royale. I turned my hand at it because I saw someone play it. I was like, oh, let me see what it is. First couple of games, like I win continuously, I get a bunch of kills. Then all of a sudden, I just jump into games and I just get killed instantly. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And it's like I personally am not the biggest fan of weighted lobbies without telling me like weighted lobbies. So like probably like Call of Duty had it as well, but in Call of Duty you could like see your rank. And right now, like especially when it comes to battle royales, especially when it comes to like PvP matches where there's no clear rank visible, like I really hate it when they start like messing with things like, oh, first it's easy and then it's hard. It's like just give me a baseline, so I have a reference. I just really hate that. But I don't know. What's your take on it?
I do not like progression system in PvP games. I do not like an external leveling system for a PvP game unless it is just to award you in-game currency. Like I like the one in Hearthstone. No, Heroes of the Storm. I missed that game so much. I like the one that was in Heroes of the Storm because it was there to allow you to invest in getting new characters and to invest in getting cosmetics, right? I hated the leveling system in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare, because you had this leveling system that, oh, I died, but don't worry, I've dropped a death grenade. I'm like, all these environments are built for close quarters combat. And I hate it when someone can have a leg up on you just because they played the game for longer. Not because they're better, but because they've played it for longer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like I can see what you mean. I mean, like, yeah, with Call of Duty, it was always like the first couple of levels, like you had the standard classes, and then you had to like farm up your weapons to get better, and like, yeah, like that was very rank dependent, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's like people saw that leveling RPG mechanics that worked in games like World of Warcraft, where you got to a new level that you dinged and you got new gear and you got a higher item level, like people saw that and shoehorned it into additional games, right? So
mm-hmm.
like the most recent Marvel Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4, there's a leveling system. Why? It's a fucking action game. Why does it need a leveling system?
Yeah,
That doesn't make fucking sense. Oh, but he needs to work towards getting this, that, other, and he needs points. Right? Points mean prizes. Yeah, but why do you have to award in a point for getting a level? Why can't you get like, oh, but it's just it is tricking the mind into releasing endorphins because you saw a visual cue to "you've done good."
yeah.
Head pat.
To be fair, when it comes to PvP games, it does have its benefits because what I did like with Call of Duty, for example, with like the prestiging, which you could like opt into whether you wanted to do that, is that even if you had a bad game and even if you lost the game, even if you lost the game pretty badly, if you did get some kills in, like you did feel like, oh well, at least I progressed like a little bit, like I got my ranks up. And I know that, like, on the one hand, like, it's a bad thing that you like start out, like, you don't all start out with the same weapons because people can have a leg up on you if they played longer. It's not entirely down to skill, but at the same time, if I wouldn't have had that, then I would have just sat there with a feeling like, God dang it, I just lost all these games. What the fuck have I been doing? And now it's like, oh well, at least let's say if I played it for 2 hours, at least I got some rank in, which I think Warframe also tried to do with their Nightwave system, where it's like, if people have been done farming out or like they only farm resources and like they don't get that resource, if you've been going for 2 hours at like one resource, you don't get it. It's like, God dang it, well, at least I got some Nightwave standing up, so at least I have been doing something. Like, it can also be a positive thing where you like, because of that, you can feel more rewarded about something even if things primarily don't go your way.
So I just want to actually jump on what
Finlandia.
Villanlia.
Yeah, he's called
The,
Retro. You can also call him Retro if you want to.
fuck you, Retro. What you call? I just want to point out what Retro has turned around and said. It's like it's actually funny. Team Fortress 2 recently added a mechanic to make teams skill balanced. Higher skilled players are balanced between teams, so one team doesn't steamroll the other. I believe if you dominate the other team for too long, you get debuffed or something. And that is actually something that I find personally quite appealing,
Mm-hmm.
right? The importance of God, how do I say this? In StarCraft 2, I remember the value of balancing, matchmaking. You would play, I think it was like 3 to 10 games, and I really can't remember where. And it would work out, I think it was 10, where you would sit,
Mm-hmm.
right? In terms of the league system. So bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and I think there was something else. But when I played 1v1, I jumped straight into platinum. But a lot of games these days, like Sinoalis does not use any balanced matchmaking at all. The number of times like we're playing and we just get completely ruffle stomped, or we ruffle stomp the opponents. There's very rarely an instance where it's so close to call.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, as long as it's done like in like gradually, I like, yeah, I can get down with it. I don't like the coddling idea when it comes especially to PvP battle royales type games where it's like, oh, for the first couple of matches we're just gonna make you win everything. I think that was last year with like Fortnite season 2 or something. I'd never played Fortnite, and then like Jacksepticeye made a video about season 2. I was like, oh well, whatever, let me check it out. I don't know, like I haven't played it since like the PvE part. So I jumped in, and like the first match I'd won easily. I was like, what the heck? How can I be good at this? I've never played this.
Yeah,
And then like 2 free matches on one, and then all of a sudden like the fourth one was like, oh, now you're gonna get owned. It's
just
like
dominated.
it's
Yeah.
so like I don't like that. It's like if you want to balance
Cheap.
it out, go balance it out like slowly, where like it gets more skill. Don't be like you win, you win, you win. You're number 90. It's like
Yeah.
what the fuck. But oh well. Okay, so the rest of this week, like I've been playing a bit of Fallout New Vegas and what is it? Among Us just a moment ago with Defton. Among Us still a lot of fun. Fallout New Vegas. I like the story, but like the battle mechanics, I really have to get used to. They're really old, I feel, and like the game kind of like is dated. So like I'm really liking the story. I'm really liking the setting. I really hope that what we talked about last time, that maybe Obsidian and Bethesda can make Fallout New Vegas 2, when like modern mechanics, or maybe Obsidian makes like a sequel to the Outer Worlds. Like I'm super excited about these games again because I'm just a sucker for them. But yeah, that's basically what I've been up to aside from like doing a lot of like uni work. So yeah. Let's get into the topic because we're like 30 minutes in and we haven't talked about our topic yet.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's a podcast. You know what you're in for. So we have our very first topic, which is also like the titular topic, which is Twitch. Twitch introduces licensed music library for streamers, but the music can only be played live, and it pays an artist an exposure, which we just decided was apparently not very bad because it could solve things in the world. Maybe Twitch is like trying to get world peace where no shady business can go on because you're paying each other an exposure. So you can no longer like hide your drug dealer because like you pay him an exposure and then everyone knows about him. Anyway, so what is this thing? So Twitch announced something called Soundtrack by Twitch. Soundtrack by Twitch is a music library, which is like kind of akin to the YouTube audio library, which is like a library full of music which streamers can use to play in their streams without having to worry about copyright issues. A couple of months ago, like Twitch had like a big problem with some copyright claims coming in, and like a bunch of users getting banned for like having copyrighted music in their clips. We talked about it in the FrameCast. Basically, like Twitch has been like a free-for-all landscape for a long time where people just played copyrighted songs all the time without any repercussions, and they got struck hard. People almost lost their channels. So this is kind of like, I think Twitch's response to be like, hey, this is right now music you can play without worrying. Basically, the library consists of a large collection of songs from like a lot of labels, including like Monster Cat, like they're also pulling from SoundCloud and more. If you're an individual artist, you can also bring up your songs to Twitch to be added. Individual artists can even sign in themselves and have their libraries added to the soundtrack. So the idea of Soundtrack, it gives you like a curated collection of reg-cleared music and integrates with your streaming software to separate your audio sources, allowing you to keep your channel safe while creating compelling content to grow as a creator, as Twitch says so beautifully in their promotion. Now, initially when I saw this, it sounds really good. It sounds really cool. I've been like telling people like you should like TikTok, how TikTok can get away with playing all that music, all that copyrighted music in like those little clips is because they have like licensed it. They've licensed all that music. So instead of like YouTube where like you can get copyright striked, like TikTok you can use it because TikTok is like, hey, we got it licensed. And I think that was like a super smart thing to do. Now Twitch comes around, says the same thing, but there are a couple of problems. So first of all, from like the streamer side of things, this is a music license that can only count for like live stream content. So you gotta like do a separate plugin on your OBS so that it can only play during live streams, and it cannot be in your videos of your past streams, and it cannot be in your clips. So let's say that you're like doing a stream, you're like dancing to the music, like live, you can hear the music, but like in the clip, if you miss the thing, like you're dancing to nothing, because if you have it in your clip, if you have it in your video of like a past stream, you can get copyright claims, which is pretty dumb. A lot of like people on Twitch have been speaking out about that, but also this is something which was said on the article. Also, instead of standard music licensing deals, the service is made possible through partnerships with 30 independent music companies, labels, and all that sort of stuff, which are exchanging access to portions of their catalogs for exposure to Twitch's enormous user base. So everyone is being paid in exposure. To help deliver on this promise and exposure, Twitch is adding a new clickable button to streams that incorporate the soundtrack, which will display the song being played and allow users to open the song in a separate streaming service. So, what do you think, Drew?
Can they listen to the music in the separate streaming service, or do they have to pay for it?
I don't know. I think that's dependent on the streaming service itself.
It's kind of shit if that's the case.
Well, like I think that if you're on Twitch, you're able to listen to it, and then if you go to like the streaming servers, it depends on the streaming servers.
No, but my point is that you've done your stream in Twitch. It's perfectly free. You're perfectly fine to listen to any of the music on there. But then when it comes to, sorry, my brain's just frozen. But when it comes to like going to say SoundCloud and you want to listen to it, you can only listen to the first couple of seconds, and then you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like actually, like that's great exposure. Like you hear a song on stream, you're like, oh hell yeah, I want to listen to that again. You hit on the button, it's like, you want to pay up? It's like, yeah, like that doesn't really help with exposure, like at all. Even if you wanted to go down the route of exposure, it's like, if the streaming service is paid, which like we don't know which ones are, but like if they are, then that doesn't really help. Like, I mean, like then again, like how many people even click on like a clickable button thing, a hyperlink?
So it depends on what too. It depends entirely. Like, it's really interesting to know because right now on, so, 10 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
the last platinum giveaway had a fraction of the amount of participants than what we normally get.
Mm-hmm.
All right, absolute tiny portion.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm sick of my main audience never winning any platinum. I want to give it to the people that answer in the polls. So now on the polls for 10 o'clock, it actually shows. You actually earn the platinum that way.
Mm-hmm.
So you answer the things that I want you to answer, you have a chance of winning platinum. And yeah, it's
the thing that I find is like,
sorry, the point I was making. Sorry, the point I was making was, it's shocking how few people click on the links off the resource that they're currently on.
Definitely. Like, I mean, descriptions, like clicking on links in descriptions barely happens, as you point out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, this is one thing which I'm also a little bit worried about, is like when it comes to videos, like I can click on the link after the video, or I can click on the link, pause the video, click on the link, go to the link, check it out, go back, unpause the video, and play it again. At stream, you can't do that because, like, let's say I hear a really cool song on a stream, and I want to hit the link to watch it, then boom, the stream goes away. And like I listen to the song, I find out about it, come back, like the stream is somewhere else, and I can't go back. And like if I want to go back, like if I want to watch let's say the video of the past stream, then all the music is gone. Because like the music is not allowed to be on there. So maybe like people don't even like clip, and maybe people don't even like half store their past broadcast, because why would they? Because like it's not even the same experience. And it's like, especially like on YouTube, the platform where you can pause and actually like go out and come back, like people do it so little. Like what makes you expect that people on like the live platform, where like if you go away you miss something, would go ahead and click on this thing? Like I think the chances of people doing it on here is way less likely. And especially like when it comes down to like, even if you can go for it and like the streaming service says pay if you want to listen, it's like, no one's going to do that. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the reasons why the polls in YouTube work so well, is because you could have the poll on the screen at the same time. You just click on the thing and then, but yeah, again, that didn't work when it came to Chromecasts. The end slate doesn't work when it comes to Chromecasts. And like there are so many things that are just like, this is not good user journey.
Stadia
Guys,
doesn't work in
come on.
Chromecast. I mean, what?
Yeah.
No, it's like I find that really, really weird. Like especially like the thing that you point out with videos is already such a low interaction, and then when it comes to like for fuck's sake, like live, like who's gonna click on links live? It's
Yeah.
I find it it's like you're paying people for exposure, and even like if for exposure wasn't enough, like of like a shit way of paying out, it's like a way for exposure that people aren't even gonna be clicking on, or like. But anyway, like, let me tell you something worse, because there's more to this topic that I just discovered. Because apparently, remember Facebook gaming?
Yeah.
So the platform like Facebook Gaming took over Mixer. They're like a streaming platform on Facebook. Like I think barely anyone goes on it because it's Facebook. However, Facebook Gaming has recently entered a series of new music licensing deals with labels and publisher for its Facebook Gaming platform. So that means that every single person that live streams on Facebook Gaming can play video games and have like legally play songs from a vast catalog of the music of these labels. Let me tell you who the labels are. So the deals announced on Monday will include, or like 14 September, will include multi-year pacts with Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, Sony Music Entertainment, along with their respective publishing companies, as well as Cobalt Music, BMG, and Merlin, and cover over 90 countries. So, well, Facebook declined to specify the total number of songs included. A company spokesperson said that when we look at the music played on the platform, the vast majority is covered, and restricted tracks are very rare. So remember, like every single track on YouTube, every single copy strike on YouTube is like either Sony or UMG. If you go on Facebook, you can post content with these songs in there because Facebook has got it covered. Like, I'm not going to say something, like, I'm not someone that's tempted to say something positive about Facebook because I generally don't quite like the platform. But to be honest, when it comes to, like, licensing music for your platform, this is a pretty good job. This is a really good job where people can just play their music, play their radio music, and they're covered to play it. Like, I find that a pretty good job.
I am genuinely surprised. I think it's shocking. I do genuinely think it's shocking, the fact that Facebook have established this. Does this also count for past stream? Like, does it remember past streams like Twitch does, or does Facebook Gaming just chuck the stream as soon as it's over?
I don't know because I've never been on Facebook Gaming. Like, it's never been something where I've been interested in because it was Facebook. But I can take a look.
I find it really interesting how. Like, I don't know about you. I do not particularly like listening to music while I'm watching a stream or something like that.
Mhm.
Like, I'm really fucking picky when it comes to what music I listen to. So, like, there's not one artist that I will listen to every single track. Most artists I'll listen to like one or two tracks. Very seldom do I listen to more than one track for many artists.
Mhm.
But to me, like, I don't want to listen to what the streamer is listening to. You know, I really like how Joey does his streams where music is optional, right? So you open up the music in another tab and you can listen to the music alongside anyone else that chooses to do it. It's optional. That's great, right? I could choose to put on my own music on, like, I listen to it on Winamp because I'm old school. But you know, and then there I am, like, I'm watching Joey play the game, but I'm listening to the music I like listening to.
Yeah.
Right? But I honestly don't know if there's much appeal. And to me, like, in terms of, oh, we spent money building this thing, I'm like, why? Fucking why?
Yeah. Well, I like one thing we should mention with like the separate music track, like I like the idea if they're incorporating this into OBS where like you can play this through their thing, like through OBS where it's separate from your thing, and like also they can see the separate audio streams. That's a great thing of like incorporating this thing where you can toggle on and off the music if you want to. Personally, I think that like the music I select is like to create some sort of like feeling, some vibe with the stream, and like I have different playlists for like different moods that I'm trying to set. So that's the way that I incorporate my music. But I can understand like if you're here to just like listen to a speak, but you don't like my music style, or you're like, oh, today I'm just in for something else, or I just don't want music. Like having the option, like it's the internet, so like if that option is there, like it's a great thing to have. But like, I don't know necessarily if they're offering for you to like turn it on and off. The only thing that they say is like, we need it this way, so it won't be in your videos or clips because like you're not allowed to have that. You can get claimed for that. So like that is something which I find really weird. Actually, let's go take a look very quickly on Facebook Gaming because we mentioned that before we get back to this. This right here is Facebook Gaming. To be honest, this is the first time I'm going on here. It looks just like standard Facebook, which I don't know how good that is. But like, I don't know, like it doesn't attract me at all. But anyway, like what you see right here, it's like you have like it looks like Twitch, but then like if Twitch was on Facebook, Um, as far as I can tell, like I went to like a guy's channel right here, and what you can see is that it does just have clips and it does have videos from like recent videos. So I don't know whether these are like um full streams or whether these are like, yeah, these are full streams. So basically, like it kind of works the same as as like Twitch, where it stores your past broadcasts. And I'm
Mm,
kind of wondering now whether you can also upload videos in here, because like if you could upload your own videos in here as well, which like Twitch also allows you option but no one does, then
mm.
again right now you have a platform where you don't have to worry about copyright strikes from like the biggest music labels because the platform's got you covered. Now again, the biggest downside to this is that it's fucking Facebook. No one wants to be in Facebook. But let's say, like, can you imagine if YouTube came around with this, where YouTube said, okay, we license with like UMG, we license with like Sony, we license like the big companies, and you can just use your music in your videos and you don't have to worry about it because they're licensed to this platform? Like, how much better
So,
would that be?
so I think there is something to highlight here with Twitch, where the fact that the music is only there during the live
Mm-hmm.
stream. So I imagine that there is so part of the licensing agreement is that the audience can only listen to the music if it is live,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, in the UK, we have this thing called the TV license. Now, TV
Mm-hmm.
license is only mandatory if you watch live broadcast television
Mm-hmm.
or BBC iPlayer, right?
Yeah.
If you watch BBC iPlayer on your PC, that still counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you don't do any of those, you don't need to buy a TV license.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now there's this big controversy that people think that you need to buy a TV license for this, but it's interesting that if you watch DVDs or if you watch what's called streaming services like Netflix, you don't need a TV license, right? And I'm wondering if the agreement that's held with Netflix, and coincidentally, I'm wondering if it's also with Facebook, that the the music can be there live because it is significantly cheaper than if the videos were stored. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because then you can listen to it on demand.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can imagine that, where it's like it's different because like if everything's open, then like I could just go to a single moment, like listen to like the song like at my desired moment in like someone's stream, and now it's like I just have to be lucky to listen to it. I can see
yeah,
that. But like I think that TikTok set an example with like licensing music to a platform, which like no one really noticed until like later on, where it's like, oh shit, they're not getting copyright struck into hell. How did they do this? And now Facebook comes around and also like licenses music, kind of like, I mean, like how radio shows and like TV stations also license their music. Um, and then Twitch comes around, and then you'd think it's Amazon. You'd think it's like Twitch owned by Amazon would do like a great thing. And basically, what they're saying is like, oh, we have this license with like independent artists and SoundCloud and Monstercat, which sounds really cool. Like, I think that these guys have like amazing music. Like, go for it. Uh, but then it's like, well, we're just gonna pay them out an exposure because we're just gonna do this licensing for only live. So it's proper. That's probably like a cheaper license than if you do it like for everything.
yeah.
And then like we're just gonna do it for exposure in a very shitty way. So for creators, it's not an ideal situation. And for artists, it's not an ideal situation. It's kind of like, what was this patch job? Like, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, the big thing is that it's Twitch that's footing the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's effectively the equivalent of Twitch going out to the shop, buying the CD do the kids listen to CDs anymore? I don't know. So they go out, they buy the album, they come back, and you can only listen to the album while you're streaming,
Yeah.
right? So Twitch are footing the bill, right? But it's a restricted way of listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say because
I get where you're coming from with that they're like footing the bill. However, I do think like it's so weird, Facebook gaming. I find it the strangest thing possible because
Yeah.
like every creator like shies away from it. But like I'm just like imagining, let's say it was Mixer, let's say it was like a competitor to YouTube or something, or I mean, if it was Mixer, like if there was a platform, literally, if there was a platform where like the message was, I mean, there is right now, it's Facebook Gaming, but like if it wasn't Facebook, and there was a platform right now which said you can play all the songs from your radio, your UMG, your Warner, your Sony, you can just play that. You don't have to worry about copyright strikes. And like again, like it's not just that people want to play that because you see that happen on Twitch, like people play that a lot, but it's also that like on YouTube, even if people like try to stay away from it as much as they can, if it just appears in like a vlog because someone was playing it on the street, or you just like hum it. Like people get copyright struck by these companies over and over again for the most useless reasons. And if you then have a platform, it's like, well, everything that's like on here is like everything on here is license. Like we have licenses, so you can just like, you know, they won't copy strike you. It's like, dude, like if there was a YouTube competitor that had that, like wouldn't that be like an ideal place to go? And like if you're on Twitch and you're just like playing your favorite Spotify playlists and like you've been afraid by like the copyright claims that just came in that almost could have banned your channel, you're like, oh shit, but I really like these playlists. Like, wouldn't this be like a perfect place to go? I mean, it's Facebook. Like that really sucks. But like I do think that like this thing of like licensing music, yes, it's like a cost for the platform. But I do think that's like it could be a great thing for competition. Like if people actually start noticing this on Facebook, hopefully it might be something where like Twitch and YouTube will have to step up, where it's like, hey, you know, otherwise people are gonna leave. And like, yes, like I mean, like Twitch is footing the bill, and you can see that's like, oh, they don't have to. But then again, like Twitch also don't have to like host servers. Twitch also don't have to like partner people. Twitch also doesn't have to serve ads. But if they want to stay competitive, it's something they got to do for their users.
But I don't think that Twitch necessarily has the funds to sink into this, like,
Do you not think
you know,
Amazon versus Facebook, like?
yeah, but there's a difference between Amazon and Twitch, right? Yes, Amazon owns Twitch, but so does Google own YouTube, right? But YouTube, we believe heavily, is operated at a loss, right? Yeah. It's just a loss that Google won't let go, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Twitch is in a very similar situation where it's barely keeping afloat. Facebook, I mean, Facebook fucking throwing money away like it's like nobody's business. But I honestly, I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, they've done all sorts of weird and wonderful shit with things like the Oculus accounts and things. So now you have to have a Facebook account to play on your Oculus, and like, what the fuck's that? People I know have cancelled their pre-orders for the Quest 2. It's all over the place.
So the only thing that I can find is a graph from 2018. Like I'm doing a quick search, but in 2018, Apple had like was the most valued brand, followed by Google, then Amazon, and Facebook was like quite below. So again, like these things are, I mean, like they're being run at a loss. Basically, like I think that the main reason for that is because like literally you're offering people like a lot for free. Like when it comes to YouTube, you're offering people so much storage of free videos that they can upload. On Twitch, like anyone can start streaming, and like we're streaming right now to servers that need to be on like right now with like a quick internet connection to like everyone that's watching, and like they need to be on for like 1 million viewers and 1 viewer. And there is so much more people that do it to 1 viewer, where like the cost of running that server and running that internet connection is not worth it if it's just like 1 person to 1 viewer or 1 person to 0 viewers. Like the cost on that is so high, like because there's so many people that just like stream to so little people. But they still do it because like if you have this opportunity that allows like these social media platforms like where people can come in and like grow big, and then like they take their revenue from like the top part of things. But like whether they're like successful, whether they like profitable or not, like only they know. But I can imagine how it can't be very profitable. Then again, like having this influence, like what you see with YouTube, what you see with Twitch, is they do have a big influence on the public discourse. So like the value may not necessarily be very monetarily, like you make big ass profit on this. However, as you see, like Twitch is the go-to streaming platform. YouTube is the go-to video platform. And basically these platforms, for people that are focused on it, control discourse and control like who speaks on it. And like like you see that with YouTube, you see that with Twitch. They're very much trying to like, choose who can stream and who can't stream, and choose who can make videos and who can't make videos. And people also like to have that power for like maybe it doesn't give you money, but like it gives you this power. And like I'm curious how these companies look at it. I think Facebook is like, it's really interesting, like how much money they threw at it, even though it's not in public countries. Like, you Facebook gaming, let's go there for like our live streams, even though like they just threw a lot of money at it. I'm quite curious as to like how that develops. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it develops. I don't. I feel that Facebook, to be honest, if Facebook gaming is still throwing, I don't know how well it's doing, but if it's still just constantly throwing money down the toilet, so to speak, I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook gaming goes away. I don't know who watching us right now has ever visited Facebook gaming, but it's definitely you wouldn't catch me on Facebook with a 10-foot barge pole.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if within the next 12 months, Facebook gaming goes away.
So this right here is the market share of you have Twitch, you have YouTube gaming, Facebook gamer, and Mixer. So basically, Twitch in 2018 owed 67% of the streaming market share, YouTube 27.5%, Facebook gaming 3.1%, and Mixer 2.0%. And 2019, 61% was owned by Twitch. So Twitch shrunk. YouTube grew a little bit. Facebook gaming grew actually quite a bit, like doubled in size. And Mixer like grew a little bit, and now actually Facebook gaming has taken over Mixer. So this was last year, but let's assume that like these numbers are relatively the same. Then Facebook gaming now owns 10% of the market share, YouTube 28%, and Twitch like 60 something.
I don't know about that, because that's assuming that every Mixer streamer that when Mixer was shut down went over to Facebook gaming.
Yeah, I mean,
and also the fact that was it Ninja? I can't remember who. Yeah, it was Ninja that was on Mixer, has now gone back to Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more gone towards Twitch. I mean, I assume the 2020 numbers haven't been released yet.
Yeah, all the numbers I can find are like from like early this year, about 2019. So like we're probably gonna have to wait a couple of months to like get the 2020 report.
Yeah.
But I didn't know like Facebook gaming like almost had like, I mean, like a 8 to 9, almost 10% market share. Like that's pretty big. Like especially if you compared it, like YouTube had like 27. It's like YouTube streaming isn't all that popular, but then again, like who goes to Facebook gaming?
But the big thing is, like, yes, like if you were to look at the raw stat, say, oh yeah, but 10 million people watch on Facebook gaming, but compared to this 27 million people over here and 61 million over here, right? Like the 10 million isn't that impressive.
Well, it is impressive as long as like, I mean, like if they doubled their market share like last year, like the thing is like, yes, it's not impressive compared to Twitch, but it's like it was 1 in a 4-man race sort of thing, and that's 1 in a 3-man race. So like when you compare it to like, let's say you have remember when like Nokia was like the biggest like cell phone manufacturer like on the planet? Yet Samsung with like a little market share, and like yet Sony was doing quite good. Like having just like a little market share to start with like Apple and Samsung, like at the start, like when they were growing a little bit, like that wasn't much, but like at least it was a little. And like all of a sudden they took over, especially with the smartphones, where Nokia and like Sony just couldn't quite keep up. And like I'm not saying like that was also bound to like a technological revolution, like a change in the product and change in the environment. However, maybe like licensing like this can become like a very important thing, because I mean, like again, like it's Facebook, and I think that that's like the biggest threshold for people to come to go over, because like I would not like to go to Facebook. I would not like to make a Facebook account. I hate how it resembles Facebook. However, if let's say that like what like over the next year we're going to see a lot more like copyright claims on Twitch, like we've seen like a couple of months ago where partner channels almost got banned off Twitch because they got so many infringements on their clips. Like if that happens and all these big channels are like, oh shit, like I need to be super careful. I can't do song requests anymore. I can't like go like play songs that I enjoy, that my community enjoys. I really need to watch out with even like reacting to movie trailers, because movie trailers can have like these songs in it. Like, you know how YouTube, like literally like the reviewing or movie reviewing community, or like the like so
Yeah.
many big YouTubers have completely shied away from everything, because literally like anything could like copy strike you, and like that is the biggest worry, because that takes away all your revenue. If that happens in the next year, where like Twitch is hit so much more by that, and then it's like Facebook is like, hey, we got a license with all these companies, so like copyright strikes like 90% less, because most of the companies that are doing these copyright strikes, well, hey, we're licensed with them, so you can use their stuff. It's like that could become very compelling if that like rears its head. But I think it's going to be a big threshold for people to go over to Facebook gaming, because it doesn't really have the same feeling for like a lot of people as like, oh, the fun place to be. However, like it just depends like how big the push is for people to like avoid the copyright strikes. So I don't know, like it could be a big thing, but then again, like I wouldn't like to go over to Facebook. I don't know.
Never say never. Right, should we move on to the next one?
Yes, let's do it.
What's the next one?
I think, speaking of movie trailers,
Yeah.
I think it's a Monster Hunter movie trailer.
Are you gonna do it?
I thought you wanted to do it.
Well, I can't. No. I mean, like, put it on.
Oh yeah, we can. We
Yeah,
can.
put it on. It's like tiny. So we just put it on.
Yeah. One thing which I already see is it's got 12,000 likes to 23,000
Oh my god! I
dislikes.
never saw that. I didn't see that. Oh my god.
So we're in for something good, I guess. There's no music, there's no sound to this, but you can see what's going. You can see what's going on here. Something
I was
big.
about to say, let's put it. Oh my god! Watch that! It's some monster! Oh god!
Oh.
Shoot at it! Drive away! Oh no! It's evil!
Ha!
And then rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat.
Monster Hunter. Okay, one
Right.
thing which I gotta ask a question about. So this thing right here, I see a monster. That's alright. But where was the scene in like where was the part of the gameplay in Monster Hunter World where like you stood on top of a Humvee with like a Gatling gun and you shot bullets at monsters? Like where
First
did that
off,
happen?
That's a minigun. Second, exactly. Everyone is just fucking losing their shit over this. And like, don't get me wrong, Diablos. I keep on saying Devil Joe. The Diablos, which you saw like burst out of the ground, it looks pretty damn cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Monster Hunter is all about the whole. Oh bloody hell! So there's Devil Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Diablos. God damn it! I keep doing that. Right, I literally said that, and it like I don't know who it's trying to appeal to. So it feels to me that they're trying to make this movie appeal to a broader audience. As a, that's American Humvee. Oh, I like America with a minigun. America, freedom, and like it just feels like it's trying to pander to people that are not fans of the game, and like, so it just makes it look dumb. And there is oh god, what's the name of the damn thing? There is like a poster of Mila Jovovich who has like a giant sword in her arm. Like, you know, so if you're unfamiliar with the Monster Hunter franchise, like you are effectively like as far as I can describe it, you're demigods, right?
Yeah.
You are like made of legend, and you just do all sorts of weird and wonderful somersaults and backflips, and you know, maybe I shouldn't use the insect glaive as much. You have these weapons that are like bigger than you.
Yeah.
Right? That, you know, and like, so when you see this minigun, it's just like, this is so out of place.
No, like
I don't.
Like the thing that I have is the part of like Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter like games is the most important thing is, number one, you have a big ass like slicing weapon. Sometimes you can turn that into a gun depending on like the genre, but like Monster Hunter's mostly like slicing weapon, big ass sword, and you go to town on the monster, you find weak spots. And you gotta like go at them
Massive
because they don't have a health bar, and like they will change their behavior. You gotta watch the pattern of their attacks, and then like you gotta take them down. And that's like the big thing. You take down the monsters. However, like that is like the soul of Monster Hunter as far as I've seen it. But like this right here, I mean like yes, like the model, like I'm not familiar with like Monster Hunter that much, so like I don't know how much the model resembles like the thing in the game, but like I'm trusting where it like, looks good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like if I'm not familiar with this game, like more than just like surface level stuff, like it's just like CGI monster, and this is every single goddamn movie. Oh, guy with gun, go with gun, shooting gun. Oh, boom, explode. It's like, how is this different? How is this different from Transformers? How is this different from any other like gun, boom, 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 boom movie? It's like, what is Monster Hunter here? I saw a monster, but like, if you want to convey the idea of Monster Hunter, have like people with big ass swords just go to town and like, oh, I'm gonna find a weak spot sort of thing. This is just, what is this? What? How is this Monster Hunter?
I'm probably gonna watch it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna watch it. I don't know how I'm gonna watch it because all the cinemas in the UK have pretty much shut up shop. But just to say, this is actually directed by Paul Anderson, who is the director typically known for the Resident Evil franchise.
Ooh.
And I liked Resident Evil 1 and 2. I especially liked 2. 2 was really good. And then it kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the, was it Resident Evil Extinction? There's one where basically it's like they're in the desert or some shit like this. And Mila Jovovich's face is so heavily airbrushed. It's like, do you have bones? Like, yeah, it looks really bad.
I really think that when it comes to like video game adaptations in movies, like in order to do it right, like you shouldn't take it too seriously, because if you take it too seriously and like, oh yeah, like it won't, like general audience won't understand it. But you gotta stay true to like the material, like what makes this thing the thing. So like, I think that like with The Witcher, we had such a great adaptation. I mean, like also the books, but like also a great video game adaptation. If you played the video game, like you could understand the series. If you understood, like if you watch the series, you could also understand the video game. We complemented each other so well, and like people just like went at it. It was amazing. And this right here is so disconnected. It feels like, as far as you can see, I mean, it's a 15-second trailer. Who knows what else there is? But as far as I can tell, this this doesn't look like anything. Like, what the hell? What does this have to do with Monster Hunter? I don't know.
I 100% agree with you. My favorite video game to movie adaptation was, can you guess it?
I would almost say Witcher, but no, I just said that. I don't know.
No, it's Warcraft.
Oh, of course, yeah. Dude, how the
I
fuck?
fucking banged on enough about that. You know, I want a sequel to Warcraft, but I just don't think that they're ever going to give us one. The second one is actually the Sonic movie. I fucking love the Sonic movie. It was really, really well done, especially when they got rid of that horrible, disgusting creature thing that they were going to have a Sonic. But this is just like, what even? Just what even? It could be good. It could be.
We're gonna have to see more. We just saw 15 seconds of it, so we can't ditch an entire movie by 15 seconds. But yeah. Anyway, I was just thinking, like, you were wondering about how you were gonna see it, like because like cinemas are closed up.
Yeah.
Like I was actually like looking at this right here, like, you know, the video right here, and it's just like Monster Hunter. I don't think you're gonna see it, because I think that before it's gonna be out, like Monster Energies is gonna like copy strike it. Just like they did with
Oh god!
Someone is
Monsters Hunter.
Yeah, no, I mean, what did they change it into? Like, they changed it into soul and something thing. Like they changed. What did they change their name into?
Oh god, Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix Rising. This is gonna be Phoenix Rising Hunter. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Phoenix Rising Hunter. Yeah. We're gonna hire it. Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, that was that movie trailer. Now let's get into the next topic. Which is about something very successful. We've been talking about very successful things, Facebook gaming, Monster Hunter movie trailer. Now the next very successful thing, which we all know and love. I know that you're an avid gamer. You're a gamer yourself. Maybe you're not. Maybe you just tune in. You're like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Everyone's
Whatever.
a gamer.
Everyone's a gamer. You're a gamer. You're my gamer. Okay. No matter what. No matter if you play the game on your mobile phone, you're my gamer now. So you're a gamer. So you love Google Stadia, don't you?
Oh, totally.
Totally. Now Google doesn't love Stadia. So Google Google will not be supporting Stadia on their new Chromecast for 2021. So if you know, the Chromecast is like a little thing that you can plug into your TV, so your TV becomes like a smart TV sort of thing. You can like watch streaming services, all that sort of things. But it has been leaked that Google's new 2021 Chromecast will be a $50 device that will be connected to a TV and will support a wide variety of streaming services. However, it won't support Google's own gaming streaming service, Google Stadia. Now, Google Stadia launched last year. It was like this thing where you paid $150 upfront to buy the console, to buy a controller and the console itself, and then you had to pay a monthly fee so that you could buy games on that platform, which you only owned as long as you paid the subscription service, and then you could play games on like their servers and you could stream it to you. So like if you didn't have an all powerful PC, you could play it with hopefully not too much lag, as though it was on like a real powerful PC. The thing didn't really seem that promising from the start. I don't think it has been like hugely successful. But anyway, Google says support. So like right now, it's not on the box of like this Chromecast thing on this streaming device. It's not supported. Google doesn't support it. Google does say that support will come in the first half of 2021, hopefully. However, it is quite telling about the current status of Google Stadia that like this thing, which like last year, it's supposed to be this big streaming service, game streaming service thing, is not even like on their own product supported. So when Stadia first launched, like a lot of things like have happened. Like they first launched, like Google has promised a free tier of Stadia base where you could play some games. Like that apparently came in like 6 months after release. However, like a lot of people like haven't even like checked it out. Like me neither. Like I've not been interested in Stadia, but especially like, I mean, like if it was free, I might have like when it launched, but like I'd got no interest in it now. According to 9to5 Google, after the launch day of the free tier with Destiny 2, its concurrent player base like skyrocketed at least for like a little bit. So they had that. Now Google also has added the ability to play. Has also added the ability to play Stadia, to play with the Stadia controllers wirelessly on the computer. That previously wasn't possible because of reasons. So like, there's a lot of little things which like Stadia has been like struggling to get traction with, and yeah, like this Chromecast thing is not really going to help. What do you think, Drew? Do you think that this is Google like kind of like telling customers like, well, boy, yeah, maybe we're going to drop it at some point?
I very much think it's the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Mm-hmm.
The left hand is busy continuing to develop Stadia, while the right hand is building the new series of Chromecasts.
Yeah.
Someone, the right foot has leaked to the right hand. Hey, by the way, don't bother supporting Stadia. Thus, no one's told the left hand. The left hand is still feverishly trying to make Stadia a viable thing, and it's pretty much dead at the door.
Actually, that does really look like it. Like one thing which I wanted to bring up was like the website called Killed by Google.
Oh God!
Which is like a website that lists all the things that Google is saying out, and actually like the left hand not talking to the right hand. Like that's a perfect example of it. Because are you familiar with Google Duo, or I think it's called Google Duo or something? It's like their iMessage thing where you can conference with each other, you can face like video call to each other.
You mean Hangouts?
No, it's called Google Duo. That was introduced last year, and Google Hangouts, which was the exact same thing, is actually going to be killed off at the end of this year, because they now have Google Duo, which is already the same thing as Hangouts was. But they now have another one, and now because they have two, Hangouts will go because Hangouts is the older one.
Well, fine, as long as it's just as acceptable.
Well, I don't know, but like
accessible.
Yeah, but like Google Duo, like why? We already had Hangouts, and like another thing which is going to be killed off is called Google Play Music.
So I'm gonna fine
because they now want to do YouTube Music.
okay, that's again fine. But I'm fine with so one thing that I think we all have to accept is there are so many legacy systems that are in play now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got YouTube. I don't even know if they can do YouTube 2.0, right?
Yeah.
I think it just gets a facelift and that's it. We have Hangouts, we have Gmail, we have Amazon. There are so many services that have been going on for decades, right? Well, getting on for decades. And it's insane how quickly platforms like lose I think the best way to describe it as a developer is cohesion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the platform is developed, do it this way, and then like, oh, we're shunting it along a little bit, it's got to do it this way, and then we're going to shunt it along, it's doing this way, and then as the months go by, it's like getting more and more off track to the point where it's like completely off screen, no longer anywhere near where the original concept was.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, well, if we had this over here first, right,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't have had to deal with any of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like the thing which I can see happening is that the demands of the internet also change, and like I think like a lot of these companies, one thing that you find is like what we saw with If This Then That, which was like a website which had a lot of like plugins, which like a lot of like creators use for automatic tweet send or automatic like Discord messages whenever you're going live. There's this website called If This and That, and basically you can say like if a video is posted, send a message sort of thing.
Mhm.
And they recently announced that they were going pay to use sort of thing. Like you have to have the subscription in order to like use the same functions as you used before. Like basically the idea with these things is that a lot of these startup companies in this technological world, like most of the time they shoot for like this business model which sounds sustainable. Like you see that with YouTube, you see that with Twitch, you see that with like If This and That sort of thing, which is like they offer a free service and they try to like get as many people to like jump on the bandwagon, so their company gets a lot of value and they can sell it off to like Google or Amazon or something. And then if that doesn't work, there's like, shit, now we have this company which is not sustainable, so we gotta change our business model that will piss off users, and let's hope that like it ends up somewhere. So I can imagine that when you have like a Google which acquires so many like things, like it can acquire a lot of like companies or like websites or apps or sort of things where it's like, oh, we kind of have the same sort of thing, but this one is more popular. Like the demands can change as well, where it's like I think like Google also has a very much like come up with your own thing, create it sort of a way. And like whenever it's like, oh well, like Google Hangouts, like the difference between Hangouts and Google and Duo is that Duo can only video call, and Hangouts was like a chat and video call thing. So like I think Hangouts kind of started out with, you were in Gmail, and then in Gmail you could also like chat message each other, and then you could chat message each other and also call each other, and chat message call and like also video call each other. And like that's kind of like build up from like the Gmail side of things. And then like Duo was more like, hey, Apple has FaceTime, why don't we make our FaceTime? And then like, oh shit, these two things clash. I can imagine that like so many different ways things are developed from like different ideas and also from different periods of time, that at a certain moment, if you are such a big company that you have so many things built on different systems and you have so many like different things which are like all of a sudden like clashing with each other, like it's gonna be tough to like have it all on like the same sort of like build. It's gonna be tough to have it all the same like sort of streamlined thing where it's like so driven away from like all out of each other, where like the one program that you have is so different from the other one that you're gonna have to like at some point like cut things off to keep like oversight of what you have and like make sure that like they're all compatible with each other. So I can imagine that, but it's so weird when it comes around with things that Google creates and is super proud about, and then like you just see like, oh well, no, I guess they don't do anything with that, and oh well, they just created another service for a service we already had. Now they're killing off the service that actually worked, and this thing doesn't work. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like I remember one of the things that they killed off called Google Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it was supposed to be Google's attempt at tackling Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like I don't get it. Like, why are so many products these days coming out that are supposed to be direct competitors to another already established product, but don't support half the features that product supports?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Oh, dude, I can give the example of Google Play Music. So Google Play Music allowed you to have a family plan. So like you could
yeah.
pay for Google Play Music, so like your family could like listen to music so Spotify like. However,
Mm.
now Google Play Music is going to be replaced with YouTube Music. If you have a family plan, but you have kids under 13, like they can't have a Google account because they're under 13. So if you had a family plan, basically, if you have kids that you were sharing with your family plan, they're out of it. You can't you can have them, but they can't listen to music anymore because now for YouTube and the kids can't be on YouTube.
No, I mean there is YouTube Kids, but
Yeah, but that doesn't work with YouTube Music.
ignoring that fact. But no, you're not wrong. I mean, the other
Yeah,
one I was going to say was like either Origin and Steam, or Uplay and Steam,
Epic
or
and Steam.
Epic Game Store and Steam. Like,
Yeah,
they're all trying to compete with Steam. The only one that I really say does a fairly decent job is Good Old Games, and it's like, oh yeah, we're competing with that product. Should we put in all the features that product has? Nah, we'll put in like 10% and we'll say it's a success.
oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like that was a big flaw with like Mixer, the Mixer streaming platform, where it was like Mixer was like Twitch, but then owned by Microsoft, and like it worked. All right, like it had 90% of the features there that Twitch had, but it was just the exact same as Twitch, and it's like how can you like I don't know how people can think that they can sell things which are like, oh, it's just the same as that, but slightly worse because it's a derivative of it, but it's just about as that. It's like I don't know, man. Like I can't. Like I'm only thinking. Like imagine if last year, like Mixer's deal was that they had this license deal through Microsoft with like all these companies. If Mixer came around and instead of saying like, "Oh, we're just like Twitch, but a little bit worse," said, "Hey, we're just like Twitch, but you can't get copyright strike here," like they would have sold. But like again, like they don't do it, and the only reason why Epic is somewhat successful as like a competitor to Steam is not because their storefront is absolute garbage. It's not because like if you open it up, like your computer crashes like 9 out of 10 times. No, it's because like they got free games, baby. You can download free games, and the rest of it is like garbage. Oh man,
It's like oh god, it's fucking dumb. Like Stadia is not the first platform that's tried to take off to be this digital streaming platform for video games, right?
Yeah.
There was another one which I think it was called On Live, and it was supposed to be this little orange and black box that you'd plug into the network, you plug the HDMI cable into your TV, and you would just stream the game, right? Never took off. Like it literally got cancelled partway through production because it's fucking impossible. The sheer volume of like computing, that's the fucker, right? The sheer volume of computing power you need to play some games, like you just can't fucking operate these things at a profit.
Yeah,
It's just not doable.
I think you also had like the Nvidia Shield or something. Like Nvidia trying
The Shield still exists.
yeah, but like I don't know how. Yeah, Nvidia has still has their servers. I mean, it's a hard I can see their business plan, but it's such a weird business plan. So like the idea is if you can own a market where like everyone instead of buying PCs subscribes to you, like they're not buying anything. You just get a revenue stream, and like Netflix has proven that like if you have this revenue subscription stream, like you get a bunch of money. You get a whole bunch of money. You get a heaping helping of money, and like basically like you can see these companies trying to rush this idea of like if we can be the first that owns this game streaming market, then like we will own this. We will be like Netflix. We have money. But the thing is like in order to have that like first of all, you got to convince people, like, you don't need your PCs. You don't need your consoles. You don't need to own your games. Like, just give us money and, like, we'll let you play on our service. Like, that's a big step you need to, like, convince gamers of. That's a big step you need to convince, like, first, like, it's a really challenging thing because, like, gamers will not be happy to, like, let go of their, like, they want to own these things. They want to own their consoles. They want to own their PCs. And casual people that don't really care much, they're also like, let me get a streaming service for my games. Because they're like, oh, I'm happy to play on the Wii that we still have laying around. I'm happy to play some board games. Like like it's a really tough market to get into. And then if you even get people in there, the service needs to be good. So that means that like whether I am in the city, whether I'm in the countryside, whether I'm on the other side of the world, I need to have a experience as though I'm playing on my own PC. In order to do that, you need very good servers and you need a very good internet connection so that like you can kind of combat that lag. And it's so tough to do because it's such a big infrastructure that you have to set up. That's like it's
Yeah.
such a stupid business model if you think about it to like set this up. That like all these things which start out is like, yeah, it's a lot of money you're putting in there, and like good luck. And I think that's also why they're so incomplete because it's kind of like, well, we're already investing a lot of money into this, so like let's just go for it right now. And if like more comes out, we can work with it. And otherwise, it's kind of like an Anthem story, where it's like after so many years of development, they're like, well, just release it and we'll see. We'll do more with it. And otherwise, like, fuck it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I feel that they were biting off more than they could chew. What's the name of the company? Nvidia have so the Nvidia Shield, if I remember correctly, is sort of much like the Steam Link, but you're streaming the gameplay to a handheld device as opposed to Steam Link, which is you're going from your PC to like your TV or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like on live was much like Stadia, like GeForce Now, I think it's called. And the Xbox Pass, I think that I don't think any of these I think if any of the platforms are going to be successful, it's going to be the GeForce one, because they literally own the fucking hardware, right? All they have to fucking pay for is the internet connection to stream from the networked graphics cards. I mean, fuck, was it you who told me yesterday that someone installed Crysis 3?
Yes.
On a graphics. Someone fucking installed a Crysis 3 on a 3090. And it's just like, what the fuck even?
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. I retweeted that. So apparently, like someone installed Crysis on their on their video card, and like if you know something about computers, you maybe say no, they ran it on their video card, they installed it on their hard drive. It's like no. Like this thing has so much like video memory that basically what they did, I have it right here, is they made a partition, they made a 15 gigabyte partition on their video on their like GPU memory that they allocated as just like a hard drive space. And then they, well, like right here, you can see what I did. So it's like 15 gigs of memory, 15 gigs of hard drive, and then they installed Crysis Free on it. And like they could just run it from the graphics card. They could run a game from a graphics card stored on a graphics card. Like, what even? What even are we talking about?
That's some pretty fucking hardcore plug and play hardware.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude,
could you just imagine, like, he's like, Michelle, do you fancy playing some Crysis 3? I can come over, we can play Crysis 3. And then I turn up and I got this fucking graphics card in my hand. I'm like, Michelle, do you want to play some Crysis 3?
Dude, can you imagine? Like, maybe some like rich kids or like rich people that have like so much money to spend in their entire life. They don't like have games on like their DVDs. They don't have games on like online thing. They have like cartridges, and their cartridges are just like RTX 3090s, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to play I want to play Doom Eternal. Let me get my Doom Eternal card RTX 3090. Ah, there it is. You just plug it in. It's like, there we go. Let's play it. Oh, I want to play a different one. Oh, hold on. Let me just like take this one out. Which one do you want now? And it's like Nintendo 64 cartridges, but instead they're like RTX 3090s.
Yeah.
Actually, some sort of YouTuber should make that video. You know, like just like clickbait the shit out of that.
Oh my god.
Seeing how much money they waste on like clickbait titles, I would not be surprised to see them do it. But like actually, like I would kind of like, yes, I can see NVIDIA like do well, but then again, like I don't know whether the biggest cost of like running servers is necessarily the hardware or whether it's like keeping the hardware running. Is it really the hardware?
I tell you flat out, right? It's so a lot of the hosting platforms out there, like AWS or Microsoft Azure, or so like we in the industry, we in today's internet life culture thing, whatever you want to call it, we're moving to what this thing called cloud um, cloud hosting, right? So
Mhm.
cloud-based hosting. Now, there is no such thing as the cloud. It's
No,
just a cluster of servers,
it's just
right?
someone else's computer. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, these servers are typically built out of multiple low-level processors,
Hmm.
right? So you'll have parallel processors going on, probably like i7s or things like that. No graphics card whatsoever. Shit tons of RAM,
Hmm.
literal shit tons of RAM. Like I don't know, I think 256 gig,
Hmm.
like on average, kind of thing. Um, then oh god, what else you got? Shit tons of RAM. And then it's just like hard drive space, and things like that. And literally all that's being done is just processing websites,
Hmm.
like I think you could probably actually no, there's typically you get like 2 core processors and things like that. So like 2 gigahertz processors. So they're really slow processors, but like shit tons of RAM. These servers are not built for processing games. So you would actually have to get custom hardware to actually do it. So the Final Fantasy 7, so no, not Final Fantasy Spirits Within, the movie, right?
Hmm.
If memory serves, that was rendered using a server farm of PlayStation 3s.
Oof.
But yeah, PlayStation 3s. And like it was this huge server farm on PlayStation 3s. You could do the same thing when it comes to playing streaming games and things. You could actually have a farm of PlayStation 4s, PlayStation 5s, Xbox Ones, Xbox SXs,
Hmm.
it's but setting up the hardware, maintaining the hardware, um that is really expensive, right? Where are you going to host it and things like this? Whereas if you actually had a network of these gigantic fucking graphics cards, you could bloody get away with murder, right?
Hmm.
Because you're talking about a 2080, you're talking about a 3080, 3090. That fucking hell, Crisis 3 was a
Hmm.
bloody meaty game at the time. If you had a network of all these graphics cards, you could bloody, just pull off
Hmm.
anything. Whereas if you think about it, you could properly network them so that they're splitting the load, they're running multiple games at the same time across multiple graphic cards. Whereas with a farm of PlayStations and Xboxes, literally one console per person,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing you could, there's no alternative,
So
right?
I was just looking up about like that Final Fantasy movie, and apparently it says like that server farm of PlayStation 3s that rendered it.
Uh-huh.
That would like today, like you could do that on your RTX 3090 right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Yeah.
like that's just a joke. I couldn't find it, but
Ah, damn you,
probably.
you bastard!
No,
I totally could believe that, but
yeah, but anyway, like I can imagine that. Like actually, like they can definitely have like up on that. I do think though that like I would also think that Microsoft can have like a good chance at it with like if you look at what they're doing with their Game Pass right now, that for like like I think they increased it to like $9.99 a month. You can have all these free games. Well, free games. You can have this entire library of things where people are actually like quite happily jumping on both PC and Xbox. Like I can see them being like, okay, right now, like you can have like the Xbox Game Pass, and you can have like the lower end Xbox, like the digital Xbox. So like that's the first step. And it's like, well, next generation it might be like people like okay now it's like still digital Xbox, but it's smaller and like it can like do even less, and like it's a smaller Xbox, and like ultimately it's like the Xbox is just like literally like like a Shield or like a Stadia thing where it doesn't even play it on the Xbox itself, but because like people have already bought into like the console, and then like it's like the digital version of the console, and they're already familiar with like the Game Pass system. It might be easier to be like, oh yeah, no, let's go with the digital thing than it is to, oh, let's go to Nvidia where I've never bought hardware from, where like I'm not gonna buy a console from, but I'm gonna buy a controller and some weird ass like dongle thing that I'm gonna plug into my PC on my TV, and then I can play games. Like I think that like threshold might be easier for Xbox to like get people over, because it's like, oh, like in the first couple of years you're just buying like the cheaper Xbox, you're still buying the console, and then later on it's just going to be like, oh, you're buying the Xbox console that streams. It's like, I think that they might have that consumer edge, but yeah, I mean, like after all, these like, I mean, like the consoles still buy their GPUs and their systems from like companies like Nvidia or AMD, like actually in their case AMD, but it's like they're still like, they're not like, Nvidia is still like high up in that food chain sort of thing. Like they're actually producing the thing. So like from construction wise, like they could be, they're on the better end. And I think that on the consumer side, Xbox on the better end, and then Google is just like kind of floating in the middle. It's like,
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about Xbox, because with PC, I think you've got a really strong point. But with the Xbox, I don't understand how, like, you've got the console, play the game. Oh yeah, I'll go out and I won't bother buying it. I'll go get myself a Mackie D's, and then I won't bother downloading it. I'll stream it straight. But you've got the console.
yeah,
Right?
okay,
You've got
okay,
the
okay.
machine.
So imagine right now that like now you can buy this lower price Xbox, which doesn't take physical games and only stream and only plays a certain quality of thing. So like I think last generation or the generation before that, if you said like, oh, we're selling you like a console where you can't put physical games in, you can only buy it from like the store, you can only like rent them, like basically like
So let's say the Xbox SX, right?
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
lower spec.
that's the thing that we have
Sorry,
right now.
SS,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the thing that we have right now. Like that's already a
Yeah.
step where it's like, okay, you're buying the lower spec Xbox and you can get Game Pass with that, and that's rather cheap, and you can have all these games. You don't own them,
Yeah.
but you pay a subscription service. So let's say like next generation or a couple of years in, it's like, well, now we have like an even cheaper version of the Xbox, which like you can download these games and like play them at these lower settings, but you can also stream them, and then like they can be 4K or like they can be higher levels. And it's still with the Game Pass. So like it just goes a step down below. Like it slowly fades into like you can buy this Xbox where you can play games on, and like you can buy this Xbox where you can play games on and stream on, and you can also buy this Xbox where you can only stream on, but that will be cheaper. But you can choose from that, and because like people have been eased into it, just like they have been eased into the like buying a console which doesn't have like a physical disc that you can put into it. Like,
but you've got to make sure that no matter what you do, you are making a profit. So this $9.99 a month budget across however many people has to pay for the hardware,
yeah,
the the game development, right? And oh god, what else? What else? The internet bill, right? For a start, so it'd have to pay for these multiple different areas where if it's a physical game or a downloadable game, all you have to pay for is the storage space, right? Not running the game, just storage space, and the development of the game, right? The second you have to start paying for running the game, that bill is going to fucking skyrocket, right?
that is.
And it's going to require, like, they're going to have to be really careful in terms of plug and play hardware where they're able to just, oh, we need to add more machines. Like, we need to add more boxes to accommodate the volume of players. Oh, right. Okay. So we've now got 30% drop off. We have to shut down those machines, right? Because one of the things that Nvidia could do is after they've done this, oh right, we need to recycle the graphics cards. They could literally pull the graphics cards apart and repurpose them for the next generation of graphics cards.
Yeah. I definitely think that on that side of things, like Nvidia has a step up, but I definitely think that like it's so much easier for like on the consumer side of things, like to convince someone that's already like they're already into the Game Pass thing and they're already into like the digital Xbox thing to like go into the Xbox streaming thing than just buying entirely random different things. Like let's say, okay, for example, let's say this, okay? Next generation console. So PS6 and Xbox 6. Let's say that the Xbox says, you don't have to buy a new console. You can continue to use your Xbox 5 and stream the new games that are coming out. You just have to like pay the service, like you just have to acquire the service, and you can play all these games because you stream them through your Xbox. So then, like,
Okay.
you don't have to pay for like the upcoming, like you don't have to buy an upcoming console because you just stream it. And like they've already like made these consoles in advance that they can do it. So like you can still play your regular old games on it, but you can also use it to stream. So you don't have to buy like a $400-$500 console, but you can stream. And like you can also do that with the upcoming generations. Like it's like I think that might be an easier sell to people than that's like, hey, you may have never heard of NVIDIA because like people that are probably going to be into streaming are probably not enthusiasts that built their own computers, because otherwise, like, if you like building your own computers and you have money to build your own computers, why would you go and like do a streaming service? But like this is a company you may have heard from a little bit or never have heard from. You can go and buy a subscription service here so that you can play games on a streaming service. It's like, well, but like I've never heard of them before. It's like, you can do it on Xbox.
So to poke holes in the idea, the hypothetical, play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
If you have the option of buying a £400 Xbox 6, right, or pay $9.99 a month, right? So £10 a month, to get all the same games as the £400 machine, plus paying for the games, right? Why would I never choose the £10 a month?
Well, like that's so you're saying why would I go so why would I never choose this? So like why would I?
Okay, here's clarity, right?
Yeah,
you've got the £400 machine, right, and you've got to buy a game on top. So let's say it's a £500 investment, right? £10 a month, right?
And you can play for the same quality.
Months, right? Yeah, you can play with the same quality.
Yeah.
50 months until this is actually earned its.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm saying I think that Xbox has a leg up when it comes to convincing the consumer, because they can say like, hey, you can buy this new console.
My question is, why would they ever buy the console?
Yeah, that's what and that's what they want, because they want to build their streaming service, because if you own the streaming service, you own the infrastructure and you own like their games. So like
sorry, step back, right? You are Mr. Microsoft man.
Yeah.
Right? You're not Bill Gates, you're Mr. Microsoft man.
Yeah.
You are investing in various different scenarios, right?
Yeah.
You've made the decision to sell this console, the Xbox 6, for £400. Right? And you're selling a competitive service. You're competing with this product yourself.
Yeah.
With this product, £10 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Why would any consumer who could get the same product for, oh God, how many years worth of this?
Yeah.
You know, why would anyone
why would they
buy
go? Why
this?
they go for? Yeah. But like that is why okay, so like this is the thing, like. They wouldn't, because that would be the better option, and you'd rather be your own competitor that takes your product out than like let someone else do it. And like
no, you would never want that. The business reason behind that is, like, you say you mass produce this machine.
So you'd rather have that Xbox just says, we're not going to invest in streaming service, we're not going to do this at all, we're just going to continue to make consoles, while in the meantime NVIDIA comes by and says, why would you buy that $500 console if you can just for $10 a month come to us? And like everyone goes to NVIDIA and they'll just lose all their business. Like, would you rather have that you're just like, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to compete with myself, I'm just going to like do everything and watch everyone go away?
No, you would do something else.
And that's something
you sell the machine for cheaper, right? You would sell, but the thing is, Nvidia can't just go, it's £10 a month. It would be £10 a month for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's £240 total compared to the £400, right?
But
so that's competition.
Yeah, but like
right?
the thing is that consoles already don't make a lot of like profit from the console sales. So like their
Yeah,
most profit come from like people on their platforms. So like wouldn't it be for them the most ideal situation where they won't have to invest that much into developing their own consoles because the consoles are no longer in the hands of the consumer, so they can do it all in the back end, and instead, they just lock consumers into like their own servers where they pay this subscription where they don't even own their games. You don't have to bother with like used games. You don't have to bother with like selling games, like producing like it's just on the platform. People can download it and you own everything. Like, wouldn't that be something which Microsoft would want to have?
Potentially, yes. The problem is, like, if Microsoft were to do that, they would do it specifically to spite Nvidia, right? Nvidia would need to have at least a minimum number of users to make it worthwhile. So say they had enough capacity to handle 200,000 players at any one time,
Yeah.
right? But if Microsoft provided a service that was operating at a loss, they could potentially damage the consumer base of the 200,000 users. So Nvidia might only get 100,000 or 50,000 users, right?
Yeah.
And as a result, Nvidia would have to shut it down,
Yeah.
right? Because they're paying for 200,000 users worth of service. Yeah. But the only way to make that viable in terms of Xbox is to operate it at a loss, just to kill their competitor. Now, the upshot is Microsoft can easily do that because they make a shit ton of money each year.
Yeah.
Right? An insane amount. So I think that would be realistically the only reason why is to kill a competitor.
Or like, let's say, I mean, like, if we're saying, like, look at this $400 console, or it is like this $500 console, or it is like $10 a month. Like, you're not only saying that to Xbox users, you're also saying that to PlayStation people. We're like, look at this, you can buy a $500 PlayStation, or you can come here. And like, if it's such a good deal, you're also gonna like maybe cripple PlayStation market, and they're gonna come to you. And like, what you see with Xbox is like, first their Game Pass was $1 a month, then it got up to $5, now it got up to $9, and it's like as long as people stay with it, as long as people are like baked into the system, like they can increase the price, and people stay around. So it's like,
see, I don't think they could do that for PlayStation users or PC users, because the PlayStation or PC users would still have to buy the console, even if it's the Xbox SX or the Xbox SS, Xbox 5. You know, they would still have to buy the original hardware in order to use the streaming service.
Yeah, but then let's say, like, what is the minimum you need? Like that would just be like cheaper, let's say. But I think that already right now, like, Microsoft is doing this thing where like you can, but through Microsoft, like, buy an Xbox like for $20 a month for 2 years, and like you get the free online and Game Pass with it. Like, that is, like, honestly, like, I can imagine, like, compare, like you can look at that and say, like, well, you're not really gaining a lot of profit with that. Like, you're spreading a lot of profit out like over a long period of time. It's like you could have, like, it's kind of shooting, like, it's like kind of like not good for your own business. Like, you'd rather have the people pay up the money, and then like 2 years later, like, you release another product and they buy that again. But now, like, how many children, how many like teenagers that barely have any money, or like how many like families are gonna buy this Xbox on this plan because it includes going online, and it includes the Game Pass, and it includes the entire console from day one for like $20 a month. It's like I think that a lot of families which aren't like tight, which aren't console fanboys that stick to one platform, like, might just be like, oh, I'm gonna go Xbox because that's a good deal.
I can see that. But at the same time, I think that will only work in certainly in places like America, because they are used to subscription-based services. I think in Japan that wouldn't work at all. I think in the East, it's like, you know, I'd rather just buy the thing flat out and own the thing. Myself, like, you know, my last phone, I bought them flat out. But this phone, I'm on a subscription, but it's a cheap as shit subscription. It's so cheap.
Yeah.
What else is there? I think Europe is like a big deciding factor. I don't know how many people would just, oh, I'll go for a subscription rather than.
I mean, like the thing is that you have to convince the users that this is something they want. Like the moment that Netflix was like pitched, and like I think there was like a streaming service before that, before Netflix, that kind of like wanted to become a streaming service that didn't work out, that went under. Um, but like the idea of a streaming service was like no one like wanted it when like it came like in like 10 years ago or something, because people were like, why the hell would I like want to pay so that like I don't actually own things? Why would I not rather like buy DVDs so I actually own the thing, and like I can borrow it to my friends and they can watch it, and like, and now like everyone has it because their friends have it, and yeah, I saw how easy it is, and oh yeah, it was very cheap, and now it's gotten more pricier, but oh well, everyone's watching Netflix, and you couldn't do without Netflix, could you? And Spotify, oh yeah, I mean like we all could like get our songs very easily, but now like, oh, we're paying monthly fees so we can listen to them. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, I guess yeah. So like I think like when it comes to game streaming, the biggest hurdle is that people don't see a need for it. And again, like for me personally, I don't see a need for it either. I'm kind of like, either I'm so casual that like I play with like anything. So like, I mean, if I'm hanging out with my friends, most of what we're playing is like PlayStation 3 games, Wii games. It's like we're not playing like the PlayStation 4. We're not playing like, we're not gonna be playing PlayStation 5. Because like we don't care. We just want to play games that we're kind of familiar with. It's like whatever. So like I don't know whether like if I'd be a casual gamer, whether like I want to have a subscription for service for something I play once in every 2 weeks or something. I don't know. Whereas, and on the other hand, like if I'm into gaming, if I'm like an enthusiast, like hey, I can get an Xbox for like $20 a month, and like that, I'll own that. It's like, now that's not that very expensive. And I can own that. And I can have that. And like if I have more money, I can like buy a gaming PC and I can own that. And I can have that. It's like I don't really find a place for it, but like if it wants to find a place for it, like it needs to convince people that it's like useful. And in order to do that, it needs to like come into the minds of people, and like people need to use it. And I think the easiest way for it to get to people is through consoles, because that's already something that people have. And I don't think PC is going to do it, because why the hell would people on PC try to push streaming services? Because like that seems like the dumbest thing ever. But hey, I mean like
I actually disagree with that. I think that people don't necessarily have the hardware to play like big games. Like, fuck, one of the big reasons why I upgraded my machine, was to play Cyberpunk 2077, right? But I had the budget I could just drop to upgrade my hardware.
However,
but a lot of people don't, right? So if people
However, there's one thing you miss. And that is in your case, and that's also like in the case of like me, if I have a laptop and I don't connect it to like an Ethernet cable, internet speed.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not going to fix with a console.
No, but it's like when when it comes to PCs, like generally a lot of people are going to be like with their PC. A lot of people have laptops. Like barely people have like desktops anymore. So like the most casual people have laptops, and it's very unusual for laptops these days to have an Ethernet port anymore. And if you don't have an Ethernet port,
really?
Yeah. Most laptops these days don't have Ethernet. They just have like two USB-C inputs, maybe a power charger, and that's it.
Just to clarify, you can put an Ethernet port like adapter into USB-C, and it works.
You can use a dongle. But then again, like we're talking about like the casuals, okay? So when it comes to a console, like you already have a smart TV, you put a console like right now next to it, and you plug the cable in. Like that's easy. But if I have a laptop where I would have to get a dongle, and I would have to connect to a cable, I need to figure out where that cable goes into like the router, and like that is a lot to figure out. And at that point, like, would you still be interested in the streaming service? It's like I think that when it comes to like casuals on PC that have lower end PCs, like the chances are higher that they also have very bad internet. Whereas like when it comes to like a console, I think it's much easier to like convince them, oh, just plug the cable in then.
But even so, with oh my god, what the hell's happening with my phone? Even with you're talking about like, oh, using wireless and the bottleneck is not at your wireless laptop. The bottleneck is at your modem to the outside world, right? That's where it doesn't matter if your laptop's on wireless.
Well,
it's entirely dependent on your ADSL or fiber, whether or not the hosting cluster is in your country at all, right?
Yeah, I mean that plays a big part too. But when I think up to 2 years ago or something, like when I started like creating content in 2015 up to 2018, I could never really stream because like my internet was absolute shit. And why was that? Because we just had a router downstairs, and like we have a 3-story building. It was downstairs, and like you could kind of like watch videos upstairs, and you could kind of like text But like if you wanted to stream, my upload was garbage and my download was garbage too. And I at one point was like, well, let me just run a 10 meter long like Ethernet cable, see what happens. And all of a sudden I could stream easily. I could download things easily. It was like, wow, that was like a night and day difference. And like getting a second router and like getting it installed right in your room, it's like that's also like something which is more complicated, which is like again
Are
like
you kidding?
but isn't that the same thing as like, you know, how hard is it to like get a game console, or how hard is it to like the way that I see it is that game streaming is such like a casual level thing and so not an enthusiast level thing that the moment like you're an enthusiast, like it wouldn't be something that you'd be interested in.
I honestly, I disagree. I think it's the gaming enthusiasts that would rather get the streaming service. Like, out of all the people I know, right, that bought into Stadia, it was one of the hardcore gaming enthusiasts that got into Stadia, right?
That is
Literally,
crazy.
it's Loz, right? Loz wanted to buy it for the controller, wanted to experience it for himself, so on and so forth. No one else do I know actually bought into Stadia. Like they want, as you said, they want it simple. They want to buy the box from the shop, put it next to the TV, plug it into the internet. That's what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, if anything, is going to be the reason why online gaming will fail. It's because it's people are targeting it for the casual audience, much like Netflix. I mean, you were saying that everyone and their dog has Netflix. I have Netflix for one simple reason, right? I want to put money towards the Netflix original productions. Lost in fucking Space is amazing. The Witcher, incredible. Disenchantment, holy crap. Like, I'm not one to like I don't bother with I'm looking at them. Amazon. I don't bother with Amazon's video streaming service. Like I don't give a shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm not gonna bother putting money to. I don't have Amazon Prime.
No.
I'm probably one of the few people you know that doesn't have Amazon Prime.
Well, I know
right?
a lot of people that like Amazon Prime in this country is not big. I know no one that has Amazon Prime here. But like, I mean, like the thing is also like I've like I don't have Netflix either. Like, I mean, like my family got it at some point, but like I never use it. Like because I'm kind of like, I mean, like I got DVDs and like if I want to watch something, like I barely watch TV. So like the thing is that for me, like I got YouTube. And when it comes to like great shows, like I'd love to have like I mean like what like I love to have like a display of things. And like when it comes to like books, like I'm reading books now. I'm reading them less. Like I should read more, but like I love like buying a book and like reading it and like having it like putting it on the shelf and like if someone wants to read it, I can lend it to them and be like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I love that. So like when it comes to like The Witcher, like I would love to like have the DVD box. It's like this is the thing, and like I know it takes up a lot of space, but like I like having that physical thing because again, like yeah, like look at that, the merch. It's like we had the internet go down for like an entire day. It's like if all my movies are on Netflix, well, guess what? I can't watch fucking anything anymore. And it's like one thing, like I know it takes up a lot of space, and like that's people's main reason for like why don't you just go to like the streaming side of things, but. Have you ever seen like someone's game room and it's like or like a place where they have like a a shelf full of like games? It's like it does have a special feeling. Yeah, it's maybe a bit enthusiast, but like because I like it so much, like it's such a cool thing. Like I have my games like I organized them recently, and I look at them like, oh yeah, dude, I like that one, that was so good. Or like I find Persona 4 Golden, and like they're the small tiny PS Vita like box, and like open it, it's like, oh my god, it's such a great game. It's like if someone has a Vita, I'll borrow it to them. And like I'm kind of hating that like a good friend of mine, like he came over here for Corona because like he wasn't in the United States. He came over here. He didn't bring his PlayStation because he thought he was only going to be away for 2 weeks. That was kind of dumb. But oh wow, a book just fell. But he was like, oh man, like I would love to play Ghost of Tsushima. I bought that game. I finished it. I really want to hand it to him, but he doesn't have a PlayStation right now. But if he had, I could have given it to him. He's like, dude, play this. And it's like, that's what I love when it comes to like, because I love these things so much, I kind of want to have them sort of thing. I want to have a physical thing. And like, that's why I don't like
I get that with console games, right? I totally do. Like the majority of the Switch games I own are physical.
Yeah.
I don't particularly subscribe to digital. Mostly because Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a perfect example. It's the game. it was a Xbox 360 exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got re-released on the PSN,
Yeah.
and now it's getting a re-release for the Switch, PC, Xbox One, or Xbox SX,
Yeah, it's Xbox
and
5.
PlayStation. Yeah. And so it's getting re-released, and that's literally the only game one of my friends is holding on to her Xbox 360 for. It's like literally the only one. My Xbox, I'm pretty sure, is dead, and like I've still got it in a box in my bedroom. I'm like, why don't I just throw this thing away? I really just don't know. But I totally get the value of having physical things. I've got boxes full of DVDs again in my bedroom because when I moved to my last place, I was without the internet for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I can't remember how long, and I was just going through DVD after DVD. I was just binge watching stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get it.
Yeah. So, shall we move on to the last topic? Because otherwise we'll never get to it.
I think push comes to shove, I don't think streaming services will really ever take off until servers are cheap as literal shit.
Yeah. I'm quite curious for that time though, because let's say the servers become cheap as shit to run. Like, wouldn't that change the landscape with YouTube and Twitch and like big companies? Yeah. Because like right now, the thing that's holding back competitors to YouTube and Twitch or big social media websites is the huge cost in running servers. Yep. But if that cost goes down, if the cost of data goes down, where like you don't have to worry about giving all your users like free access to upload videos on your platform, like maybe that will turn around and like all of a sudden like people and their grandma can go like create their own like YouTube website, and like there can be like this little arms race again of like these small websites like trying video hosting websites like trying to come up, and like maybe one will beat them.
I cannot envision personal websites coming back. I really can't.
Nah.
It's pretty much the reason why I've kind of given up on my one. It's just like, I mean, it's built on a pile of crap. I mean, but no one visits it. So, right, okay, moving on to the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 5's remake of the PlayStation 4's Spider-Man changes Peter Parker's face drastically. I don't know if you want to put the image up. Spider-Man Miles Morales is one of the launch titles for the PlayStation 5 and is the highly anticipated sequel to the 2018's Spider-Man created by Insomniac Games. Included with the Ultimate Edition bundle, the game is a remaster of the original 2018 version. In the original 2018 version, Spider-Man, I think that's supposed to be Spider-Man's voice actor for Peter was Yuri Lowenthal.
Mm-hmm.
But the model created for Peter was not a direct match for him for artistic purposes. For the remaster, they have chosen to adjust the model using a new face actor, Ben Jordan, to give the character a closer facial match to the voice actor. This is a purely visual change. The voice acting has not been touched, but the difference is quite noticeable to fans of the game or in any side-by-side comparison. This is the big reason why I got the side-by-side comparison, so you could actually easily tell. So the one on the left is the 2018 version, the one on the right is the remaster. The original Peter Parker appeared to be a college-aged man with signs of having lived a bit of the hard life, while the new version appears to be closer to a fresh-faced version of Spider-Man portrayed by Tom Holland in the recent movies. Fans have noted that the change appears more jarring because the proportions of Peter's Parker's body not having been adjusted, only the face and hair. And this produces an uncanny valley effect during the cutscene released by Insomniac on September 30th. I don't know why I'm belching because my drink's right there. I haven't had any of it. In a tweet from Brian, I have no idea how you pronounce that. Intihani, Intihar, the creative director of Insomniac Games, he stated that they totally understand the reaction. Apparently, it even took Brian, the person in question here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is the clip. I assume no audio.
No audio, no.
Cool. Right. It took Brian a while to get used to Peter's new look. However, it was apparently considered necessary to find a better match to Yuri to better convey the voice actor's performance visually. Despite the reaction, Brian has asked fans to trust that this is what they feel is best for the future of the franchise. So I don't know about you. He looks so babyface.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, it feels like, especially when it comes to like the side by side here, it's like it also feels filtered, man. Like like the old version. If I look at that, like it feels like there's detail in the face. It feels like, you know, a character, and this just feels like, you know how like if someone takes like a picture with Snapchat, kind of looks like that. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it wants Snapchat in my game of life, you know. But
You've watched Nerd City in the past, haven't you?
yeah, I have.
Do you remember the SS Sniper Wolf?
Oh
episode?
man, I mean, oh dude, Thought Patrol is such a great series. Just like also the pictures where like necklaces just disappear into skin and sort of thing. It's like, anyway, the thing that I find is, well, first of all, like, hey, okay, so what do we need to consider? I think that one of the things which I can understand when it comes to a franchise like Spider-Man is that, especially if you want to continue on with this game with like a sequel sort of thing, which I can imagine they might, because like this Spider-Man game was quite successful. It was quite good, and I mean it's also tied into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Then you want to have like some uniformity across the board. Was it not?
It's not tied into the Marvel Cinematic.
I mean, Spider-Man is tied into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, like, not this series, but Spider-Man is. So, by extension, like, people see Spider-Man in the movie, like, ha! Play game.
Yeah.
So, I can imagine that if they want to continue on with a series of this, they want it to appeal, and they want to have some uniformity across this. And one of the things which, like, Marvel's Avengers had with the game that came out that didn't do that great was that, like, the first time it was shown off, people were upset that they didn't resemble the actors that they were familiar with. So I can imagine if you want this game, even though it's standalone away from the MCU, like you want it to resemble like the movie that people saw, because that could be like your greatest advertisement. So that if kids that have never played a Spider-Man game like watch Tom Holland and they go into the game and the character looks like Tom Holland, they're like, hell yeah, dude! I can get down with this. I can imagine that they might want to do something like that. However, I don't know whether like this was the right way of doing it. Like, I think like if they wanted to do this, they should have done this from the start. It's so weird that with like this new console release, you have this change in model when the game has already been out. It's like, and it's not even like a live service, it's like a game, like a single. It's like, why now? Like, what? How? And like it's, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gonna be toggleable. Like if you could switch between perspectives, I'd be like, yeah, down. But like, it's weird. Why now? Why not when the game released?
So, NVIDIA asks, can we get a comparison shot between the new version of Spider-Man and the voice actor Yuri?
Oh, okay. I'll look for that.
So I can convey my thoughts. So you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I do feel that this is a marketing move to make Peter look like Tom Holland in order to try and sell the game more to younger audiences. And I feel, realistically, that's a really scummy, shitty thing to do. I do not agree with that tactic, that mentality, that method. So that's the voice actor is on the left, and the original Peter is on the right. And then
you have the original for like,
and then like
he
just looks so baby face.
I mean, like he kind of has a baby face. Like I mean, like it does for some of the voice actor, but then again, it's like,
No, it doesn't. No,
Uh,
because like the big thing is, right? Christ, I wish I could annotate this. Look around Yuri's eyes, right?
Yeah,
They are worn, they are weathered. He has smile lines going the side of his nose, right?
yeah,
So
there,
does the Spider-Man
yeah.
on the right, right? Go back to the other comparison, right? No smile lines at all,
No, I
right?
agree. Yeah.
He's got such a youthful face. Like this character, sorry, this version of Spider-Man is like fucking 14, 15. He's young as shit. He's supposed to be out of university, right?
Hmm.
Like it's so I feel that this variation of Spider-Man, he is far too young. Sorry, just looking what Nvidia says. No one cared what Peter looked
Look
what
like
Peter
people. Yeah, people just
people
wanted
just
to
want
play as Spider-Man. They didn't care. They care to
yeah,
look
yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd say to be honest, I'd rather play Tom Holland Spider-Man than any other Spider-Man. Terrible
Like
says.
and just like I don't. I want the narrative to be standalone, right?
Mhm.
So one of the problems that the MCU has right now is that they're trying to move into phase 4. Like all the movies have been postponed indefinitely
Yeah.
because of the whole COVID-19 scenario.
Mhm.
And like what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right? So I want to know what happens with Spider-Man after Far From Home,
Mhm.
right? I think that it has great potential to be something incredible,
Mhm.
right? I mean, hell, you know, Sony were just going to be like, and it wasn't for the fact that Tom Holland, you know, pulled some crazy ass moves to convince Disney and Sony to actually kiss and make up. I mean, like, fuck, I wish Disney and Warner Brothers would make up, and then they could make a sequel to, hopefully, a good sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mhm.
You know, but it's like I honestly like why. Oh, it feels like you're taking creative artistic license and then you're just going, no, put it in a mold, make it more product, make it more
So, so
mainstream.
I can imagine that like on the one hand you have this thing where you have like this massive billboard of like the movies where it's like why would you not make use of that? On the other hand, it's like if you're so dependent on the movies, the moment that like the MCU stops being relevant, which like I think it's lost a lot of relevancy among like mainstream public where after like Endgame, people were like, yeah, okay, that was it, that was the end because it was called
Yeah.
Endgame. Like I think that the moment that hype dies down, then like okay, well, you know, like do you still want to be tied to it? Like won't that then be a movie video game sort of thing? But like one thing for me, which has always like a little bit bothered me with when it comes to like superhero franchises, and like that's because like I haven't read the comics. I'm not a comics person. So the thing that I found always so bothering when it came to Spider-Man or like Batman or like is that like they always told the same thing, and I was like. I just want to have one story that continues. So like when we had the Batman trilogy with like
Christian Bale.
yeah, like the really good one. I was like, okay, so like I know that they changed the actor, but I just wanted like I wanted that thing to continue. I wanted like okay, so like that's one thing which I loved about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It finally continued. Like we had Spider-Man, we had like Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, new Spider-Man 1, 2, 3. It's like why the fuck are you telling the same shit?
One, two.
Oh yeah,
It
1,
wasn't
2.
a third one.
It's like, why are you telling me the same shit? Just tell me what goes on next. What happens next? I have already seen this. As like for someone that hasn't read the comics, that hasn't read all the different instances, like I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was like the very first movie where it's like kind of okay with there being multiple Spider-Man. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like just different universes. But it just, I was like, so like when I am like watching the movie. And like I'm then playing the game, which is either like doing the somewhat same thing as the movie, but then something different. I was like what is this story even? It's like when I watch Star Wars, it's like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not like 4, 5, 6, and then like 1, 2, 3 is like the same story, but then different, but still the same story. It's like I just wanted to move on. So when it comes from a casual perspective, I can understand that like when it comes to like a Spider-Man game, Like, on the one hand, I can very well understand the argument of, like, let this be independent of the movies. Why do we need to mainstream all the movies? Why do they all have to look like the actors from the movies? Like, I can understand. Like, I don't have a like for that either. It's like, just because this movie is relevant at the time, why should it look like the actor? But at the same time, I also have this thing where it's like, I just want to have a story where I can get lost in, like, which goes on, because, like, for me as, like, a mainstream casual, not reading the comics person, it's really, really weird. Like, I really lost a lot of, like, interest when it came to superhero movies. When, like, I discovered that, like I watched the first, like, the original 1, 2, 3 Spider-Man, and then, like, the next Spider-Man came out, I didn't even watch that because I was like, I've already seen that. Why the fuck would I watch that? And then the MCU came around, I was like, this goes on, this actually continues. Oh my god, this is so cool. So, like, for, like, I can understand why they might want to, like, tie it into the movies like that, because then, like, you have this continuity, but that runs the risk of, like, mainstreaming it, because there might be so much more better source material where it's like, oh, we could so much more better go in that, because they mainstream it with the movies. Not even in the games can I go there to, like, experience that. So I can understand both sides of the argument here.
So part of the problem with what you're saying, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Marvel versions of the Spider-Man movies can't have specific characters, right? So it can't have Harry Osborn, can't have Mary Jane Watson, can't have, oh god, there's like a load of A-list like can't have Doc Ock, can't have Green Goblin, I don't think can have Hobgoblin, can't have Venom. There's like so many characters that it cannot have, right? And they have seriously, like there's huge hands being tied between the deal with Marvel and Sony in terms of the production of Spider-Man movies, and Sony don't have the production rights to the Spider-Man games, like only movies. Not the comics, not books, not any other form of media, just the movies, right? And like it feels really off that we've got Insomniac, who was recently bought out by Sony, so it's an actual Sony studio now, exclusively Sony studio. So it feels really weird that, you know, even the creative director of Insomniac saying that, you know, it felt weird to get used to this other version of Peter, but this does feel like strings higher above, you know, saying, oh, we need you to make him look like the Tom Holland version of Peter.
Actually, like, I don't think that we put this out for next week, so I think that we can talk about this. This feels very much like the amazing announcement of Super Smash Bros., where Minecraft Steve rocks the block, where, like, literally, like, the creator was sitting there like, yeah, many people have asked me, like, how do characters get in the game? Well, it's a huge process. Sometimes people have asked me, like, can Minecraft be incorporated into Smash, Super Smash? And I said no. And then the executives asked again. I said it's not possible. And then I said that I will do it. So it's a miracle that has been achieved. But as was asked, here it is. And, like, the fact that, like, the first thing he said after, like, the trailer was like, you may be wondering, what the hell did we just watch? Well, that's a good question. It's like, yeah, like that was also probably a situation where it's like, well, you know, we could probably make
someone else pull the strings. Yeah, someone else pulled the strings. Like, and then it just asked the question: how much money does Disney have to pay to put, like, the Mandalorian into Smash?
Yeah. But, like,
You know?
like the thing that I find is, like, when it comes to, actually, let me read Nvidia first. He says, for me, the faces of these characters don't mean anything to me, because I started with the comics and faces change with each series. I could understand if people who's first into movies would care about the face, because people tend to tie into a character with the actor who portrays them. So in their eyes, a different face means it's not really that character. Yeah, like, yeah, go ahead.
I get 100% where Nvidia's coming from, right? Because when I was younger, I used to read shit tons of comics.
Yeah.
But the problem I found was when an artist would change, right? One of my favorite all-time artists is Stepin Sage, right?
Yeah.
Does phenomenal stuff. He did the cover for the Warframe comic, behind me, for the Warframe comic, for the TennoCon exclusive when it came out. I'd love him to sign that, you know. But the other, but the thing that really pisses me off is where a publishing studio, like let's say Marvel or DC or Image, or just pick one.
Was that this
They
one?
will. That's the one, right? Where they will hire Stepin Sage to do the cover art, and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. And typically, I don't know about other countries, but in the UK, comics are typically sleeved, so you can't really peruse the comic if it's sleeved. So you get the comic out, and then it's some other artist, and it's just like, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
This is like, I used to read an amazing comic called Rat Queens, right? Unfortunately, there were some difficulties where the artist, the illustrator, it turned out to be, I think, from what I understood, the situation, it turned out the illustrator was a wife beater. When the author discovered this, they fired the illustrator. And then they were trying to find someone else. They paid for Stepin Sage to step in and continue doing it. And he did phenomenal, right? It was incredible. But then, because they didn't want to continue to pay for his high quality work, they paid for him to do the covers, and then someone else that wasn't as talented, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, all artists are talented, but they weren't as great at doing comics. When they illustrated when they illustrated the Rat Queens comic, it was so difficult to comprehend what was happening. Backgrounds were getting left out. So you're trying to understand, where's this happening? I don't understand. Like 2 seconds ago, we were outside, and now we're inside a log cabin. What the fuck's going on? And the faces weren't as emotive. They were like, scowly face, like most of the time. And so I totally get where Nate Video is coming from, where artists would change with Marvel Comics like every 5 seconds. But to me, personally, that was one of the big pushes away from reading comics. I found it so jarring when artists would change, and it was so difficult to tell which character was which.
Yeah, I think that might be the really tough predicament when it comes to comics, and also especially like superhero comics, because like the way that they've been bought up by movie studios and such is, unless you've grown up with that, like you're not, it's not a normal way of storytelling generally, where like the same story is told over and over again, because you're new iterations, and like we change characters and we change actors and we change this and that. Because like what I'm used to is when it comes to movies, it's like I'm used to movie series like Star Wars, for example, where you have like characters, like there's only one actor that plays one character, and like they progress, and like later on the character either dies off, or like it's like doesn't come back, or like, I mean, like it's only 6 movies, so like that's only 6 movies. I mean, they made 3 other ones, or 4 other ones, more other ones, but I don't count them. But it's like they made a couple of movies, and like they're not like, oh, this time Luke is another one, here's another one, here's another iteration of Luke. It's just like it's a pretty linear story. And when it comes to like cartoons, for example, that I watched on TV, like series like SpongeBob or something, like when I grew up as a kid, like these are all still like the same characters that may repeat themselves, and like their plot line might be like stagnant sort of thing, but it's still like, you can watch them after each other, and so like the same continuous story sort of thing. And after that, I went into anime and manga, and like those stories basically, like, I mean, like take a look at a One Piece, which started like years ago. That started at one point, and like you're now moving on to like another point. So I'm very much used, if I want to dive into like a deep story, if I want to like immerse myself in a universe, I want to immerse myself in a universe where like a story starts and like goes on, and, like the characters in like the manga don't change. It doesn't like all of a sudden change the character, or like it's a different character. Like they might go into different universes, but that's like part of the plot line. And with like superhero movies and comics, like that's a weirdly weird thing, which like I am so not used to, and it really doesn't, like, I'm not used to it, so it doesn't really appeal to me. Where it's this thing like, oh, this version Spider-Man, and this version is Batman. It's like, no, I just want to like tell me the story of Batman, tell me the story of Spider-Man. What's the story? Tell me like what the story is. It's like, oh no, but like this is like, oh, we're Joker. Oh yeah, this is like an iteration of Joker that could have been the Joker in like Batman, but it could have also been the Joker in like Suicide Squad, or it could have not been the Joker. Or it's like, no, just tell me the goddamn story. I'm here to and it's like, oh, it's so annoying.
I mean, one thing that I really do love about like anime and manga and things
Mm-hmm.
is the big die-hard push to be its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, as you put it, like there isn't 12 different variations of Spider-Man comic all coming out at the time. It's just the one, right? So One Punch Man, you just get the one artist doing it. You just get the weekly releases, the monthly release. I think it's weekly. You got what's another one?
Naruto.
Yeah, it's like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
You've got all these different manga and things that are all done by a series of different. Shit, is that the time?
Yeah.
Which got a series of a series of singular artists, right? And it's great. One of the biggest drawbacks of things like manga is that you can invest in a manga like series, but then you get like 13, 14 volumes in, and then the artist, the slash artist has just given up. I was reading one called, I think it was called Kurahime, right, which is like Black Princess, and she was a witch, but she had her powers sealed away because she was too powerful. She defied the gods. The gods then sealed away her powers, and the only way that they were gonna, release her powers is if she showed that she'd like grown as an individual, kind of thing. And she was slowly growing by interacting with one specific human, and then like you got to like volume 13 or 14, and the author just, I can't be fucked with this anymore. Bye. I was just like, really?
Oh my god.
It's a lot of older like 80s style manga fucking had that. But when you say characters don't change, are you talking visually or like character development?
So no, like I told, like I mean, like how, see, I've not read comics, but like if I look at let's say if I look at the movies, if I look at like the first Spider-Man trilogy, then the second Amazing Spider-Man, and then like the Spider-Man in the MCU, they don't seem to share the same storyline at all. Like they're three different characters. If I take a look at like the Batman trilogy and then like the Batman and Batman vs Superman, like they also don't seem to share the same storyline. It doesn't continue off where like Batman and Batman v Superman has his injury and sort of thing. So like they're like separate iterations. Like when you look at Naruto, when you look at One Piece, when you look at manga in general, like you have this thing where like you start out with this one character and like later on he grows, or like maybe that grows really slow, or like it's kind of like Gintama is kind of like a thing where like it returns to like kind of like a Simpsons sort of thing. It kind of returns to like status quo, but sometimes it increases a little bit, but then it returns to status quo. But it's not like oh, you've like in this series like we've done 100 chapters of like as far as I can tell, like when I look at the movies, like we've done 100 chapters of this story, and now we're gonna start all over again. But this time, our main character is just a tiny bit different, and it's like, okay, why? And like I think that's also like a big problem with like the movies, with the movie industry, like the way that these rights have been bought up. That like studios are like,
So to give you a bit more background, one of the biggest problems that amounts to this is the fan bases, right? So one of the stories that I know of, I can't give it to you verbatim, but look up Hal Jordan, like Resurrection or something like that. Is so years and years and years ago, they killed off Hal Jordan, and who was a flat 2D character. He had no personality whatsoever. They ended up killing him off and replacing him with another Green Lantern called Carl Rayner. Right now, Carl Rayner was more creative with his constructs. You know, he was a really different character. But there was a group of fans that, you know, protested the fact that Hal Jordan was killed off,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that, you know, that they basically they boycotted the Green Lantern comics,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they made it more and more widespread known that, you know, it should be Hal Jordan, not some other person. Hal Jordan should come back. So, like, the guy's fucking dead. What the hell do you expect? No, Hal Jordan should come back. You know, and it basically there were so many protests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was hurting sales. It was hurting comic book
Yeah.
sales, even though comic book sales for the Green Lantern were bad, right? They were getting worse,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though in review, the replacement Green Lantern was far superior, right?
Yeah.
But the what's called the diehard fans for Hal Jordan just kept on pushing DC, and they pushed and they pushed and they pushed, and eventually they brought Hal Jordan back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this kind of pressure is constantly applied to the comic book industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't like the fact that you killed off what's called Mary Jane Watson. I don't like the fact that you killed off Gwen Stacy. I don't like the fact that you killed off Aunt May. And every X period of time, there's another fucking reset.
Yeah.
Right? There's oh god. So DC has gone through a number of these resets. And I think it's Crisis of Infinite Earth or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Or Infinite Crisis. That was
Yeah.
something like that, right? And basically, it was like that universe would just get like reset, and like Superman was a good guy again, and like Marvel had one not so long ago. So when the Marvel movies were getting like super popular, what they decided to do was do an event so that all the main Marvel characters lived in the same thematic universe. There was no
Mm-hmm.
variation on the characters. So, and basically what they did was they destroyed all the Earths and things like this. So there was only one Earth left, and different characters. Sorry, different variations from different what's it called universes came to live on this one world. I was just like,
Yeah.
why?
I
Like,
can imagine that it's like a very weird territory to work with, and I wonder whether that plays part in the way that like you engage with audience participation. So, for example, like when it comes to movies, when it comes to stories, like generally, like you can have this approach where it's like it's something that's written and you either like it or you don't. Like I don't think someone goes around and says like, "Oh yeah, no, we should boycott." The Harry Potter story because it should be rewritten like this, even though like J.K. Rowling wants to rewrite things, but it's anyway like it's as it is sort of thing. However, when you take a look at like the let's say for example the later Star Wars films, like I mean like no one's gonna be like oh Star Wars like the New Hope needs to be changed. It's like yeah, it's just what it is, man, and like you like it or you don't. But what you see with like Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 is that even like the director step forward and say like yeah, well it's just our interpretation of it. It's just a fantasy, so make what you want out of it. It's like this thing where they kind of want input from people, but also not. Like it opens up for this weird thing where you have like audience participation, which is good, but at the same time, like it interferes with the story. And I think that, for example, if you take a look at games, for example, I don't think that people are up in arms and boycotting, like, let's say, Nier Automata because they didn't like the way that something was said or they didn't like the way that a character was played off because it's part of the story, it's part of the experience. But when you take a look at, like, Warframe, I think in the first early years when it came to stories, when it came to lore, people just accepted the lore as it is. But I think that right now, we've been for years on like this pivotal moment where like what was going to happen to one of the main characters in the game, and I'm like, I think that like what's going to happen to the main character might very well be decided based on like popular vote, what people think, what people want, and even if it isn't, like I can imagine that there might be huge backlash in case that they decide to do away with this main character, and that I can imagine everyone be up and no, we want it back, and I wouldn't put it like past them to just be like, oh well, then they're back, and it's like that's what happens when you're like so tied together with like your community, let's say, when it comes to like these projects, these creative projects, which are so closely tied together with like the people that engage with them, that breed with them, that like it can give it a lot of good because it can like improve it, and like you can have this engagement together, but at the same time it might also compromise the original story. Like when, let's say for example, I think Nier Automata as a game is an amazing game, and like I don't want anything changed about that because I just think like that's the story they wanted to tell. But the moment like you start to have like interference and people put input, like and everyone has got different views, then you have this thing where like you can no longer tell your story, and you're more like pleasing to like what people kind of want to see, and then you end up with like these multiple different universes because multiple different people have multiple different things, and like there can be benefit in that, but like I think that kind of goes at the cost of the story itself.
I agree with you. I think realistically, it depends on who has creative control over the medium, right? So I think if, I don't know, say Platinum Games was turned to Yoko Taro and said, oh yeah, we need to make 2B have less clothes and bigger boobs, like he would either turn to them and say fuck off, or just say, yeah, I don't care, just give me more money, right? Okay, so let's bring this to a round off.
Yeah.
We've been going for a while.
We've been going for a while.
This is a good long episode.
Yeah.
Good. I hope you enjoy. Personally, I do not like babyface Peter Parker.
No.
I hated him in oh god, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Oh, it's a Google Gaga. Spider-Man. Yeah, that's fucking what you look. If there's a toggle for this, 100% down, right? Yeah, I'm fine for you to have that creative freedom to do this, but I think by changing the face, it does not truly does not respect the original source material, especially when the game came out fucking 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, come the fuck on.
Yeah. Like, oh my god. Like that's something where I'm like, why could you not have made this up like when you release the game, for example? And like,
yeah, if anything, this is a director's cut. Like, come on.
It definitely is.
No.
And like make it toggleable at least. Like toggle it. Like you can choose.
Yeah.
And like another thing, like which I'm kind of curious about, but we're not going to talk about that, is like, okay, if they can change the face of the characters, what else can they change in like their new console version? And can we actually like have, oh, it's the same game on the new console, but you know, it's the same game, but it's different. So it's actually the new game. It's like game 1.5. And if you want to get that, come on the new console. Even though this game has been out for 2 years. Like, yeah, I'm curious about that. Anyway, like, if you guys have any questions related to like the things that we talked about, any questions at all, feel free to post them in chat. I do want to say today we've been going on for quite some time, and I always think that episodes are good when it's like, oh, what's the time? Oh my god, that's the time. And then
well,
like, you know.
I gotta do a Sinoalis PvP event in like 20 minutes. I was like, oh
man, yeah, we gotta make sure you're ready for that. So,
yep.
Oh man,
yeah.
Yep.
Any questions? Anyone?
Do
we have any questions from last week?
Nope, no questions from last week. Just people saying good job, enjoyed the episode. So
need more questions, people. You know,
yeah.
you could ask us about our favorite games. You know, have we played any of these games? What game would we over if they changed the main character? You know, what the? Come on.
I mean, like you could even ask us like, what kind of questions would you want us to ask you?
Good question. There you go,
Yeah.
Joel.
Good questions. Yeah. Anyway, Travel says no questions. Only Tom Holland.
Only Tom Holland. Like actually, the one thing I would love to hear if you're listening to this on YouTube, especially because because there's a comment section. Like what artists, like comic book artists, or even like Twitter-based artists, or what artists do you particularly follow, if you follow any at all? Like
Mhm.
I mean, I follow a lot of artists. I just like if I had the time, I would just sit here all day, just go. Yes, art.
Consume
Ooh,
that
I love it.
content.
Culture. I mean, wait, what?
Actually, I have a question too. You know what? Like, if you guys ain't questioning, I'm questioning. So, my question is, what are you doing right now while you're listening to this? So that could be live, but that could also be you're listening to this via Anchor, or you're listening to this via any of the Spotify or whatever podcast apps, or you're listening to this via YouTube. What are you doing right now? Like, are you
Yeah.
listening to us while you're laying down in bed? Are you listening to us while you're working out? Are you listening to us while you're just like playing games? Are you listening to us while you should actually be working? Are you listening to us like I'm quite curious in like what kind of settings are you like here like listening to us? Because like I only have like this perspective where I'm sitting right now, and like I really don't know. So like if like let me know like where you're listening. Like what's your situation? Maybe we can apply it more. Like maybe something we should say like, oh, watch out, there's another task coming. Your boss is coming around. That's like, pay attention. Maybe we could say like, oh, just you had a rough week. Just lay down, close your eyes, or oh, you're doing a good job. Like, don't let people get you down. You're not a noob. Like, we can encourage
Don't
you.
let that corpus nullifier get you. Ooh, it's coming to get you. Anyway,
Oh man.
so Stevev asks Destiny 2 rant when. We need it, Kappa. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of done with Destiny. I mean, like,
I don't think they've done
it's
anything that as egregious. Like what have they done?
vaulting the content.
Yeah, but they've done that earlier. It's like what worse can they
But
do?
no, I thought has the new expansion even gone out yet?
I don't know. I do know that like if you have Game Pass, you can get that expansion for free to keep forever. But I mean, like again, like I think that at
No.
some point these expansions need to be free because like they're removing many of them.
I do not know who James Jean is. I'll have to look them up. I love Syncrasys too. I love what she does with her Gundams. You should also check out Skyers with his Gundams as well. They both work for Digital Extremes. Any types of artists: poetry, drawing, music. Drawing and music is my draw. I'm not a huge fan of music, and yes, Joey does count.
Yeah.
You love James Jean's artwork so much you've even got a tattoo. Wow. When do you, what do you? Yeah, no, I love Syncrasys stuff. We actually had her on 10 o'clock, along with Skyers and De Drew at the same time.
Cool.
I think it was episode 250.
Yeah.
We've not been able to have like a DE guest in so long.
You should. You should. Maybe we should get a DE guest on this show.
Well, do you happen to do you care to know who the next 10 o'clock guest is?
Ooh, me?
No.
Oh,
Why does
I
everyone
don't
keep
know.
saying that? Everyone's like, oh, who should we have? Like, no, it's Antonio Greco, the voice actor for Era.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like I like Skyers because he's cool to eat pizza with. Like that's what we did. TennoCon 2018. I ate pizza with the guy. That's like
Skyers is cool.
He's a really cool,
Yeah.
chill guy.
He's really cool.
So
Pablo, I'll try and get Pablo.
get Tom Holland on.
No.
Why not?
Right. So with that lovely bombshell from Cephalon Tribal, let's round off the show.
Yeah.
Michelle, let's
All right.
bring it to a
Well,
close.
thank you all so much for listening to FrameCast number 57. We've done 57 of those things. We've just crossed over 100 hours on our playlist on Twitch, which is probably a lot more because we don't have that many on our playlist. We do have more. So if you want to spend 100 hours of your life more on something, do it on the FrameCast because we have frames and casts.
Genuinely, little bit of housekeeping. I think you did agree to this. If you didn't, I apologize. We're going to be doing it Monday next week. Because I want to play World of Warcraft
Yeah.
because that's on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. So next week we're gonna be recording this on Mondays. So FrameCast always on Tuesday, except when it's not. Like next week, it's gonna be on Monday. That's gonna be interesting. Anyway, that's good that you reminded me because otherwise I wouldn't have noticed it. But yeah, anyway, 57 episodes, and thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out this lovely man right here, go over to youtube.com/Casino Galleon. He's got some amazing Arbitrus episodes, some amazing 10 o'clock. If you want to see more, even more podcast content, because whatever you're doing right now, you're doing more of it, and you can listen to more of it. You can go over to watch his 10 o'clock with amazing guests. Search like not myself next week, but someone else. And yeah, like if you want to see this back, go to youtube.com/PostmaLoneGames. There will be video content at that at some point sooner, hopefully rather than later. And otherwise, you'll be able to check it out here on Twitch at the Misha Postma, where alongside the FrameCast, we also stream other streams. Like I've been live today for like over almost 4 hours now. Damn, I've streamed a lot. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
I'm waving.
I'm waving too. Well, I'm trying to shut it down. There we go. Bye, guys.